after security team eviction. Let's do the details now. Now, the Malam interchange is one of Accra's busiest transport corridors, carrying thousands of commuters and heavy-duty vehicles every day. But beneath a constant flow of traffic, signs of deterioration on the sections of the interchange are raising concerns about public safety. Samuel Yeboah Adams was there and comes through with this report.
From a distance, the Malam interchange appears to be serving its purpose, keeping traffic moving through one of Accra's busiest intersections. But a closer look tells a different story. At the edge of the flyover, sections of the concrete parapet have broken away, leaving reinforcing steel exposed to the element. Cracks are visible in parts of the structure, while loose concrete hangs above the road. Residents and regular users say these defects have existed for some time, yet little appears to have changed.
Last October, accident.
We sell building materials here, and around October last year, a vehicle had an accident crashing into a section of the flyover. If that loose concrete falls on someone, it could cause a serious accident.
So they have been going on, but no repairs. Anytime there is an accident, they will just come and take the car, the truck away. But regarding to reconstruct the place, no. I would like to inform the authority that no, there's a whole lot of work.
It's very dangerous. If a vehicle accidentally drives into that section, the consequences could be fatal, and we are appealing to the authorities to come and fix it. Just beneath the interchange lies another problem. The drainage channel intended to carry excess water away when it rains is silted and clogged with refuse. According to residents, the blocked drain contributes to flooding in the area, disrupting movement and affecting nearby homes and businesses. All the drains are choked. Whenever it rains, the whole area gets flooded, but no one has come to address the problem. Back on the road, traders and commuters face yet another daily reality. As vehicles pass through the corridor, clouds of dust rise into the air, adding on to the challenges. The dust is seriously affecting us. The contractor started work on the road, but after that, it was left untarred. Since then, we've been living with dust every day. We are suffering because of the dust. We want the authorities to come and assess the situation and do something about it. Attempt to get the Ghana Highway Authority to react to the issue proved unsuccessful. For many who live and work around the interchange, addressing the visible crack should be the priority, but maintaining the entire environment around the interchange is essential to ensuring safety, mobility and healthier living conditions for everyone who depend on it. Samuel Yeboah Adams, TV3 News, Accra.
The Obuasi airstrip is now surrounded by deep pits, polluted water bodies as illegal miners continue to expand their illicit operations beyond boundaries. A week after the regional security team drove out to pave way for reclamation, they are back in their numbers. William Evans Inkum has filed the report.
To the Obuasi airstrip, illegal miners control large tracts of arable land. Sometime last week, the regional security team flashed them out with about 9 excavators seized and demobilized. But that did not deter them. They are back.
So we have been here for a couple of minutes, and you could see from the drone shot vast arable land degraded, several water bodies polluted. And watching from the pictures that the drone is providing us from the skies, it looks very horrible, a situation as we speak now. And we're still flying. As we fly, every scene we gather from the ground is a total disaster. It's a total mess. It's a horror of an environment.
A guy from Anyuam Kwanta is coming with his tools. We are going to take other important parts. So And if possible, he can even track it.
Last week, National Security and NIMOS came to do an operation here where we picked about 9 excavators and took parts of about 3 of them, which were here. So as you can see, on our way here, we saw 3 of the machines still working. So we later realized that they are part of those that were in a way demobilized.
3 excavators for the second time seized. The fight against illegal mining seems far from over.
You go and sack them today, tomorrow they will go back. If you are appealing to the Minister for Natural Resources, because of the problem that we are facing in Obuasi, if they can use, because the land is very big, being even using some for the military base.
The regional security says they remain resolute despite the apparent challenges.
The Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU, has called on the President, John Dramani Mahama, to suspend the proposed sale of the Volta Aluminium Company, VALCO, warning that the move could lead to significant job losses and worsening unemployment in the country. The appeal follows a demonstration by some VALCO workers in Tema, who marched to register the opposition to the move.
The protest by some workers of the Volta Aluminium Company, VALCO, comes weeks after another group of employees urged President Mahama to appoint a strategic investor to revive the struggling aluminium smelter. The workers argued that VALCO requires substantial financial investment to restore operations and secure its future. Subsequently, reports emerged that Cabinet had approved an investor for the company. However, the decision has sparked divisions among the workforce, with a section of employees expressing fears that the arrangement could lead to job losses. The aggrieved workers, led by the General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union ICU, Morgan Ayawini, to the Tema Metropolitan Chief Executive Ebi Bright, calling for the immediate suspension of the sale process.
The transfer of VALCO to a private investor poses significant risk, including potential job losses, diminished workers' welfare, and adverse financial consequences for both the workforce and the state.
He maintained that instead of selling the company, the government should inject capital into VALCO to revitalize its operations, protect existing jobs, and safeguard the livelihoods of workers.
I want to inform the whole country, all of us, leaders, stakeholders, that we are poised as a union that believes in protecting the national asset.
The Tema Metropolitan Chief Executive Ebi Bright assured the workers that the government would engage all stakeholders to address their concerns and work towards an amicable resolution.
In good faith, we will send this message across, and I want to reassure you that this is a listening government, and that no matter what, you must keep faith in the good intentions and the resolve to reset, not only reset the nation, but to ensure jobs, prosperity, and economic viability for all Ghanaians.
The leadership of the ICU has warned that it will embark on a series of industrial actions if government fails to suspend the proposed sale agreement within 1 week.
Let's stay a bit longer here because Chairman of the VALCO board, Horace Nia Yankra, insists there are no plans to sell VALCO. Reacting to the concerns of the workers, he told TV3 VALCO is exploring operating a 24-hour service soon to maximize its potential.
The state of VALCO as we speak is that VALCO currently has actually moved from where it used to stand still to making progress gradually under the leadership of John Dramani Mahama and his industrialization policy. We adhering to certain aspects of the policy have actually moved VALCO from where it used to be standing still to making profit. As we speak, I know that the board and management and everybody else, we're looking for an investor. When we say an investor, well, some say strategic investor. I prefer to say an investor because strategic investor will be talking about shares, will be talking about dividends, and they'll be talking about power. But when you talk about investor, you know that's simply an investor who would want to just make his or her profit and then leave. So there's a dichotomy to this, and then the misinformation, disinformation, and all that, and the inability to get all stakeholders. And I like what Abby Bright said. This is a listening government. This is a government that's going forward. I strongly believe that all stakeholders will be brought to the table.
That's a developing story, and we'll keep our eye on that. But keep your dial here on TV3 for all of those details. We turn our attention now because President of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Engineer Ludwig Annan-Hesse, has challenged assertions by the Minister of Finance, Dr. Kasela, to forcing that work is progressing on the ongoing road projects. According to him, many of these projects have stalled due to the lack of additional funding since 2024.
In the wake of Thursday's media budget presentation, the Ghana Institution of Engineering is raising serious concerns over the government's approach to major road infrastructure projects. President of the institution, Engineer Ludwig Annan-Hesse, is questioning government's commitment to environmental impact assessment, alleging that feasibility studies, detailed designs, and construction works are proceeding simultaneously even before assessment processes are fully completed.
On what feasibility was the right of way cleared? On what compensation assessment and payment which has been done before the right of way is being cleared. So you see sometimes it appears that we are putting the cart before the horse in some of these communications. Again, if you have not completed feasibility, how are you doing detailed design? But all these things are being done in parallel from the report. And they are being done, they are not completed, yet we've put effort on the road that we are clearing.
Despite assurances from Finance Minister Dr. Kaisel Atto-Forson that work is progressing on ongoing projects, Engineer Hesse maintains that many projects remain stalled.
No additional funding has been put into the project since 2024. Yet the government in the statement said that those projects were ongoing. They are all at a standstill because if you have not paid outstanding bills for the contractors, they demobilize, and they have demobilized, though they have not been terminated. So saying that they are ongoing when actually no work has been done in the last 2 years is not probably right.
He also criticized procurement practices and what he describes as inadequate road rehabilitation efforts.
We are not giving enough time for detailed designs to be completed before projects are started. In terms of procurement, we are also not following due process. We are using a lot of single source and selective tendering processes to select contractors for, especially in the big push area.
The finance minister had earmarked $1.7 billion for the proposed Accra-Kumasi Expressway. However, Engineer Ludwig Annan-Hesse says the funds could have delivered more immediate benefits if invested in ongoing road dualization projects.
The government has put aside 1.7 billion cedis for the expressway. If half of this would have been put into the existing road, probably by this time we'll have a dual carriageway or substantial completion of the dualization of the existing carriageway, which would have served the nation a lot. Again, if good feasibility has been done, would have hoped that the decision whether to fast track the expressway was the right decision.
The cost of locally produced fruit juices are expected to reduce by November following the 20% tax reduction announced by the Finance Minister for indigenous companies into fruit production of juice. But the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAG, says other elements will complement a seamless implementation.
The announcement by the Finance Minister forms part of broader reforms under the excise duty bill aimed at improving efficiency in the tax system, plugging revenue leakages and supporting local industries. According to the Executive Secretary of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAG, the decision was long overdue. He revealed that FABAG had consistently opposed the levy since it was introduced.
We have been talking about it through the corporate reliefs. They saw it was to bring it to the food juices, which is also another area that we are looking at. The 20% is not a blanket. If you are doing the local production, the reason is that you use local materials in doing your production. So the foods and everything that you need to do that production.
The association is confident the move will translate into lower costs for consumers.
Though it has been announced by the Ministry of Finance, GRA will pick it up and then they will meet with the stakeholders and then see what goes into what the 20% really costs for. So that one will be discussed. And once the letter comes out, approved by Parliament, then the implementation will start. So possibly before November, we should see a lot of reduction in this area.
While the association has welcomed the relief, it is calling for a more conducive business environment to promote growth.
That is where the problem is. Even with the 20%, if we don't get any increment from the utility service, that's a PRC, obviously we're going to see a stable pricing. But if they come up with any increments, that will erode that 20% that government has given. And people will ask, but when they reduced it, we didn't get the benefit of it. But the other factors that are militating against the reduction.
The government has also announced a review of the existing sliding scale excise duty rate for beer and stout products.
KPMG says Ghana's next economic chapter will depend on the successful implementation of the International Monetary Fund's policy coordination instrument. It has described the post-bailout framework as a critical bridge from macroeconomic stability to sustained growth, stronger policy credibility, and long-term economic transformation.
Professional services firm KPMG says Ghana's economy has entered a stronger phase of recovery, with first quarter GDP growth reaching 6.4%, inflation at 5.3% in June, and lending rates falling significantly over the past year. Partner and head of markets Kwame Sarpong-Banier also welcomed government's improved fiscal performance and the completion of the IMF program, describing the proposed policy coordination instrument PCI as a framework to sustain policy credibility rather than another bailout.
Final executive board considerations, however, pending. The proposed reform agenda refocuses on fiscal governance, debt sustainability, monetary and exchange rate framework, financial sector stability, SOE governance, and inclusive growth. This continuity matters because Ghana's next phase will be judged less by stabilization but more by institutional execution and resilience. People must feel what we're doing.
On taxation, tax partner at KPMG, Justina Amate-Ekwe, says government's digital VAT compliance measures, customs reforms, and tighter free zones regulations have the potential to curb leakages and improve revenue mobilization.
The key design issues that need to be addressed is the fact that there has to be clarity in defining what manufacturing is and clarity in the kind of raw materials that will qualify for these exemptions that are being earmarked, and also ensuring that there is clear alignment with any future special economic zone framework going forward.
KPMG says while the country's macroeconomic recovery is gathering pace, the real test of government's reforms will be whether businesses can successfully adapt to the new regulatory environment and whether the benefits of the recovery are ultimately felt across the wider economy.
Ghanaian officials say they will continue diplomatic talks with South Africa to remedy the ongoing violent anti-migrant protests which have killed 2 Ghanaians. The country has started another batch of evacuations targeting to fly about 1,000 Ghanaians home, with nearly 200 already arriving as of Monday. Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa has promised sustained reintegration, job offers and relief packages for the returnees.
For months, anti-migrant demonstrations have rocked South Africa, forcing foreign nationals to flee the country for safety. Both legal residents and undocumented migrants have been targeted. More than 160,000 nationals from Ghana, Kenya, Zimbabwe, Nigeria and other African countries have left the country in recent months, with deaths also recorded. Ghana earlier evacuated more than 900 citizens and has now begun a new phase to bring home about 1,000 more. A third flight arrived Monday afternoon after the first 2 groups landed on Sunday evening and at dawn on Monday, bringing the total number of returnees so far to about 150 out of the expected 1,000.
As we did for your compatriots who came earlier in the first round of evacuations, we are going to do the same. We are going to hand over to you travel allowances. We will also hand over to you reintegration allowances to everybody. We are not amending, we are not changing, we are not reducing. It is the same package because you are all valuable Ghanaians who we cherish and we adore very much.
While ensuring the complete reintegration of the returnees, the government is also working to secure properties some left behind, as well as seeking compensation for their losses.
Before you were allowed to board, the South African authorities carried out screening because they have a database of wanted criminals. Not a single Ghanaian is on their wanted list. Not a single Ghanaian is a criminal who the South African authorities are looking for. We will continue to hold talks with the South African authorities to ease tensions. We hope that they would also do better. This whole xenophobic attacks casts a very bad image of our continent.
I engaged some of the evacuees on how important returning home is to them.
But
Life in South Africa was okay until the locals started attacking us. We lost our jobs. We are all happy to be back. We hope the government will support us.
As hostilities escalate in what appears to be a loss of control by the South African authorities, Ghana expects the African Union to make the xenophobic attacks a top agenda item. Christian Yali, TV3 News, Accra International Airport.
Private legal practitioner Samuel Atachia has taken over as lead counsel for NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Entwi Boisiako, also known as Chairman Wontumi, in the 30 million cedis Exim Bank loan fraud case. Chairman Wontumi is facing multiple charges, including defrauding by false pretenses, forgery, and money laundering to the tune of 30 million Ghana cedis. Lord Idwasare reports.
In court on Monday, July 27, Samuel Atachia notified the court that Andy Appiah-Kubi, who was previously representing Chairman Wontumi as lead counsel, had withdrawn his services as legal representative. He therefore prayed the court for leave to assume responsibility for both Wontumi and Wontumi Farms Company, the 2 accused in the case. Atachia also urged the court for an adjournment to allow the defense to resume the plea bargain negotiations with the Attorney General. Responding to his request, Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Ramsay affirmed the assertion by Samuel Atachia and disclosed that the parties could not finalize the plea negotiation due to the conviction and sentencing of Chairman Wontumi in the Samraboy case. The NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman was given a 20-year jail term after the court convicted him of some illegal mining-related offences. The Deputy Attorney General further noted that although the law permits plea bargaining to continue alongside trial proceedings, the prosecution was prepared to waive its rights because the plea negotiations were at an advanced stage. He, however, urged the court to grant a 30-day leave instead of the 90 days being sought by the defense counsel. After listening to both counsel, the presiding judge adjourned the case to August 27 for further directions. Samuel Atachian spoke after proceedings.
The judge agreed, and Honorable Deputy Attorney General Service House agreed that we attempt a plea bargain and then come back to the court and announce it. So we'll take up that initiative and see whether we can broker a deal, and that matter will come to an end. All the cases associated with Vuntumi have taken over, and then we'll see how we prosecute them.
Lodi Rasari, TV3 News, Accra.
That's all the time we have here on News Morning. For more stories and updates, please check out our website, 3news.com. My name is Christabel Success Trevor. The rest of the team are on standby. Don't go away.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
that it's not necessarily an attempt to find, someone to invest in the company, but it's rather an attempt allegedly to sell Valco. And if that happens, they will lose their jobs. And so they're protesting that as well. So we'll get into
yesterday I saw a release by the aide to Ibrahim Mahama, Rafiq Mahama, who disassociated the chairman for engineers and planners any interest at all in this.
Yes.
But I don't know why they tried to link him to that. But Valco also needs a lot of capital injection. The point is that smelting aluminium is not easy. It's not easy. It's a highly capital intensive industry. So if you really want to go into it, and then you also need to have your act right.
Yes.
Because what was done for Valco was to have a dedicated power supply line from the hydroelectric dam producing power station from Akosombo directly. So it needs, because it uses a lot of power.
It does.
And so it's also one of the problems if you want to kickstart it all together. And the world naturally is also moving towards some other more important metals beyond just aluminium, etc. So it's also a big issue for the industry.
We'll be looking into it. I mean, I'm wondering why we've not been able to position Valco in a way that doesn't heavily rely on Akosombo, because that's where a chunk of its power comes from. I remember that as far back as maybe 2007, there were conversations about focusing on building a coal plant, and that was supposed to power Valco. We were given timelines at that time and told that it would happen within a certain period. That never happened, and we're still back at this point where almost every number of years, Valco either shuts down or we are told that it's operating way below capacity as well. So that's the problem. Maybe moving forward, there needs to be a long-term plan on how to ensure that Valco gets, power supply constantly and does not burden GridCo, ECG, etc., because that's where the challenge comes from. But these workers are still insisting that they will lose their jobs if, a private investor comes in. So
for government as well.
We'll get into it, yes.
All right, so we'll take a look at that, and it promises to be quite comprehensive. And this morning as well, we'll be looking at, the interaction with those who have been trained from the colleges of education, who need to be posted, because the education minister has been speaking and says that they could only so-called employ, that is government, employ just about around 8,000 for the first intake, whilst we have in excess about 90,000 students who have been trained. Are they even students? No. Trained teachers, so to speak, because they've been so-called licensed. Now, we know that Africa Education Watch, led by Kofi Asare, has, based on its own survey and research, made its own points clear that we seem to have a surplus in terms of the numbers that we need per ratio. Even though we don't have the teachers in the classrooms that they're supposed to be by way of the ratios that we need them, based on rural, urban, peri-urban. We have so many trained that we need for the classroom. It's a conundrum. It's the same thing we've done also for the nurses.
It is.
And what do we do? How do we make sure that we structure the resources in such a way that those that we need in Ghana are there, but those we've trained in excess, we could maybe export to some other countries that would need them. And how do we do that? It's a conundrum that faces the Minister of Education as well.
Beyond him, I mean, there are also teacher trainees who have graduated and they're saying that they've been home for 3 years. In fact, they were... more than actually. Now, they were told that a portal had been opened, they were going to be posted. And then for some reason, a number of them were told, about 98% of them were told they were unsuccessful. Yes, they've seen that others have been posted. So they're asking questions that what criteria was used in selecting these supposedly successful people, into the system. Why have they been left behind? Apparently, there's some money that was also charged, and they all were made to pay, and yet were told they were unsuccessful in getting posted. So they're also not too happy at all, and they're asking questions. And so we'll see if we can get into that and get some answers for them moving forward.
Well, I'll take a look at that as well. But that'll be up for this morning's segment. Remember, as we discuss all these matters, we also have cash out. It goes with the short code *439#. And so make sure that when you dial *439#, you choose option 2. You have to increase the number of tickets for each of you who will be lucky for the draw to be chosen electronically. You're going to get 500 Ghana cedis each, and we're going to do that in multiple numbers for you to be a winner. But it always becomes possible if you increase the number of tickets or stakes that you have. All right. I say good morning to all of you who have joined us this morning. We're grateful that you have. And we'll do our this morning segment up next. We're discussing those who have been trained from the colleges of education to be teachers and how they haven't been posted and the opportunities that are left for them to be able to explore. So we have tens of thousands of teachers who have completed or have been trained from the colleges of education and so have to be posted into various classrooms. They are not getting the opportunities. And for those newly trained teachers not posted, again, backtracking and dating from several years behind us, or so to speak, over the last couple of years, they've been raising concerns. Portals have been open for them to make choices for where they have to be posted, but it looks like each time, just like the nurses also experience, they click the areas they want to be posted, they just don't get the opportunity to be posted. There are also refrains or also comments, especially on social media, that sometimes they also have same colleagues who make choices and again don't get posted. So they keep wondering who then gets posted at all, even though there are individuals among them who say they've been posted. Now, the education minister has been speaking and will tell you what he's been saying. But, you know, by July 2024, that will be this month certainly, just about 4 days ago, the Ghana Education Service did bring out a public statement on the recruitment application status for these candidates or individuals trained to be prospective teachers, and did inform them that the management of the GES is informing them, particularly the applicant who applied for the recruitment, that the status of the applications were supposed to be available just 4 days ago in the following categories. And so by 5 p.m., about 4 days ago, on the 24th of July, they were supposed to have been available, the opportunity for them to have their status confirmed. Preschool, that will be those in early childhood and primary, to teach in there or handle pupils from that category of school by 5 p.m. And then also at the second cycle level or the secondary level, making up junior high and senior high, 9 p.m. Now, applicants were then told to log on to the recruitment portal and then get to check the applications at the times that we have indicated. Now, they then said that they were complimenting them for their cooperation and then patience. Well, it looks like the patience and the cooperation of these prospective teachers seem to have run out, because they say they did exactly what this release did indicate, yet they haven't been posted. So they have some small numbers among them who have been posted. And we know that this release was signed by Daniel Fenyi, who is the PRO for the Ghana Education Service. It speaks volumes into how many of them could get the opportunity or maybe getting that opportunity. and then the bigger volume, Bella, about young people who don't have access to employment or seem to think that they're underemployed. It's a big issue.
It is, absolutely. And we have the Coalition of Unemployed Trained Teachers 2023. We have one of their reps joining us, Kwame Bongwait, and he'll tell us more about this. Good morning, Kwame.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. I hope you're well.
I'm doing good by the grace.
All right. So you're saying that this appointment letter that was given on the 24th of July, a number of you applied. Run us through the process. So how many of you applied and what was the response?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. And want to use this time to greet my colleagues and your cherished viewers. To the information gathered by the ministry, they said about 40,000 plus applied for the recruitment when the portal was open. But they are looking for only 7,000 as the clearance was given.
So 40,000 of you applied, and they said they were looking for what? Only 7,000?
Yes, please.
At what point did you find this out? Was it when you were applying before or after?
Oh, for the 7,000, we are aware that is the clearance that was given, which we complained about that clearance is not enough. Teacher recruitment cannot be done in top basis because even if they are concentrating on the batch longer waiting for posting, their number is more than that, which is the 2023 batch. Let alone to talk of maybe the mass recruitment that they enroll out. So we complain about the number or the figure back. Nothing was done about it.
And so all of you applied, but was there a cut-off points for those who could apply? Did it depend on what you graduated with? Maybe a first class?
No, there wasn't a cut-off point, but everybody wants to be recruited because we can see that most of us are unemployed. The youth, especially the graduate youth, they are unemployed. So when the opportunity was given, they were ready to at least try their lucky because knowing very well that it is only 7,000, they are applying with faith. Grace that maybe they might be picked. So it wasn't about any cut-off point to which you can apply. Yes.
Were you supposed to pay any amount of money while applying?
No, for the application, we didn't pay any money.
Okay. I'm asking that because I read from one of your colleagues who said that there was some amount of money that was taken from some of you, and yet not all of you were successful. Says a fee of 25.37 Ghana cedis was collected as well. So can you explain that? Is that really true?
For the 25 cedis, 33%, it was when the appointment, checking your status, whether you have been picked or your application went on successfully. That was when you pay the 25 cedis. Then you get a voucher, then you use it to enter. But during the application, like I think the time of applying for the recruitment competition, there wasn't any money that we paid.
So,
but it was on the 24th. That's the day, yeah.
So you've graduated from school, you've applied for a job, you've been told that the portal has been open, you've done that. Now, in checking to see if you have qualified for that job, you need to pay an amount of money to get the voucher, that's what you're saying?
That was why we are not getting things right, and even how the process went through.
Now, you personally, when you checked, because I'm sure you also bought the voucher, I believe.
Yes.
When you checked, did you qualify or not?
Oh, I didn't qualify. They said they regret to inform me that my application to be recruited is unsuccessful. That's all.
They didn't give any reasons why you were unsuccessful?
There wasn't any reason after that statement.
How many of you were unsuccessful in total?
We've not gotten the figures right, but looking at the calls we're getting from our friends on different colleges, almost, let me say, 85% of us unsuccessful.
I see. Now, have you reached out to the authorities to find out if they can give some further explanation as to what led to you being unsuccessful in your application?
For Our badge as 2023 badge collation of unemployed trained teachers. We have released the press complaining about that. We need explanations and the criteria to be they use in selection our colleagues who were gracefully picked or selected for the recruitment. But up to now, the ministry or the GES have not come out with any communication as to address the country or the public about the whole show, because we know they are hearing and they are seeing what is going on the media space and the complaints circulating around. Yeah.
So for the last 3 years or more, you've been home after completing school?
Yeah.
You don't have any job on the side at all, do you?
Yes, sir. We've been home for about 2 to 3 years now. After service, national service, we are home.
How are you surviving?
That is a problem. That is why you can see people apply massively, even though knowing very well that it is 7,000 that the government said they are going to pick. That is the tension, the pressure to which you can see how unemployed the figures are.
I mean, for you personally, because we're speaking to you, run me through your day. You're not working. Of course, you have to feed. You have bills to pay, etc. How are you surviving?
For these, some of us, let me say, we are fortunate. We have brothers or parents that, though they complain, how for do they can throw us away? So they are giving us much more. But we ourselves, at the level and age-wise which we are now, you can't be there, your parents or your brother, the wife will call them and say, Kabna, come for your food. And if you are still a class 1 student or anything like that, at this time which you're supposed to also be independent and even extend the helping out to your siblings. It is not that fair, but how do we have no choice? So we just managing the situation because what is happening, it has caused us a lot more crazy frustration and a whole lot of.
So what's your next step as a coalition? What do you all intend to do now?
For we, from the start, when our badge was ignored for posting, we protested, do demonstration and stuff. Nothing was done. So for now, we know that the government is not up to listening to us. What they choose to do is what they are doing. So we are just saying that they should go back for the old system to which they use in recruiting teachers. That is the yearly base or the badge-based recruitment. It is even easy for every government to identify backlogs and clear them accordingly. Then mess bias with rating system that they go out as mass recruitment. If things are not done right, for we, the 2023 badge, which we think we have been treated badly, being ignored for a long time by this current government, we are gradually advising ourselves for trusting the wrong people that we thought they had the change we voting for.
Why did they make any specific promises to you?
Please come again.
You're saying that, you're advising yourself, with regards to this government. I'm asking, did they make any specific promises to you before coming into power?
Yeah, during the campaign, they made promises of automatic posting, taking away the mandatory national service, which will guarantee even better automatic posting because the license, the service year will be even scrapped, and that particular year that you graduate, you will be posted. So we think that one is a strength or a better restoration of the automatic posting, which we knew that it existed long ago. It wasn't them bringing it back as a first something. But I realized that we're not seeing anything. Because me, I graduated at this service. Our juniors, they couldn't do that. And the old system, which after service you need to be posted to, they could not fulfill or even adhere to that. So we still need that they have deceived us big time. And even when you've gotten a little clearance to recruit 7,000, you ignore the long-awaited badge for posting, which your government ignored. Because it wasn't like any 23 badge. Half of us were recruited and some couldn't make it or they didn't qualify. None of the badge graduates persons, even one was recruited. So the whole batch was restored and backlog by the NDC government because it's supposed to be posted last year, September 2021.
I see. Well, we'll see if we can connect with any of the authorities, maybe the PRO of the Ghana Education Service, so we can get some details on this matter for you. But you can also send in messages as well. Let us know if you also belong to this coalition, you've been home for the last 3 years or so, and you're awaiting posting, and yet have been told you're unsuccessful. Share with us what your plight is as well. But we've been speaking to Kwabena Bongreat, and he is a member of the coalition of teacher trainees who have been unemployed trained teachers 2023.
They have an association?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yes.
And he's one of them?
He is one of them.
All right. And a bunch of them on social media raising concerns, and then also, especially if you're on many group WhatsApp platforms or other platforms of a sort, you also get to know concerns being raised about how individuals who think that they could get access to others who will be able to help their kith and kin to get access to some posting haven't been able to do that. So it raises key concerns. Well, if you're watching us, especially through our Facebook stream, please make sure that let's also get to know what you make of this. Do you have relatives who are experiencing this? I see a couple of you already. Judith Kali, Krianshira is there and saying the NDC government has always had issues with teachers, especially recruitment. And then Gafaru Ali said he's watching from Busa South. And Askia Clinton also seems to be replying the comment from Judith. And is asking who cancelled the automatic posting of teacher trainees from colleges as well. I see Charles Thompson, Kwesi Mensah from New York, Prince Daniel York in the UK as well, Brim Ponkaba and others as well. But the general problem is that the Minister of Education seems to have put everything in perspective. We have more trained teachers than the available positions that government can accommodate. Because the point is based on what has been the modus operandi or the status quo over the last couple of years, Bella, you need a financial clearance from the finance ministry. And the financial clearance is very important because they have to be paid. Yeah. And then more so, there have to be processes you go through and then get their names listed on the roll for the controller and accountant general to be able to pay them at the end of the month. So that's why you need a financial clearance based on not only budgeting, but also the processes to pay them. But for those of you who are watching us, you also seem to be contributing to the subject. And so we will hear from you until we're able to get in touch with a representative of the Ghana Education Service and then speak to them. So this one is coming from one of our viewers, says that some of us will die before they recruit us. My mom has been sick at the hospital and I've been home, and this viewer says for 3 years now. And the next one, every private school says you are a trained teacher, so they can't employ you. And my heart, since Friday, okay, and my heart. All right, so there's a teacher writing this as well.
I don't understand that message. What does it mean by every private school says you're a trained teacher?
So the private schools don't want to absolve or employ the trained teachers because they think that their compensation or remuneration will always be higher than the normal teachers. So because if you're trained, usually there's a benchmark that those in the public sector take or those who are employed by government take. So usually the private schools are supposed to pay them almost equivalent or if not more than.
So what kind of teachers are the private schools employing?
Oh, so sometimes they employ normal university graduates, but who haven't been through the normal education training, so to speak, like the colleges of education or universities that tend to do.
But shouldn't that be checked then? Because ideally, they should be going in for the trained teachers because they have the qualifications.
Yeah, so it's also a matter of standards, I guess. I think that it's something also we can explore further. Because why would private schools, because we even have trained teachers with experience who then transition to some of the private schools who pay better.
Exactly.
So I think the standard should be maintained. That's what you're saying. I love this. I love this. And so this one says, every private school says you're a trained teacher, so they can employ you. And then there goes my heart. Since Friday, I've been at the hospital and 2 of our mates are dead.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So that's also this one coming in. And then it's about time the private institutions accredited for the training of teachers and nurses are stopped now that there's little space for government to absorb them. And that's coming from Godwin in Achurinswa. Ghana is a confused state, I think. We don't have money to recruit teachers, but we have money to introduce Chinese language in our business schools. Well, the two are not the same, actually. We trade with China these days, so if you get to speak Chinese, it helps boost trade and commerce, I think. But, I mean, that's a concern being raised by you. It's about a matter of perspective and then also what is needed. My younger sister completed a college of education for the past 3 years, but she hasn't been posted yet. Last Sunday, she nearly had a heart attack because her application process was unsuccessful.
Okay.
This sort of taught teacher recruitment, dear, Ibijawapa. This one be proper Gen Z language. Ijawapa. This one from Michael Tokuro. Okay. Inside Chado, Michael Tokuro.
Well, now I'll let you hold on because we have Mr. Kofi Asare. He's Executive Director for Africa Education Watch. He has just a little time for us, but let's speak to him on this. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Bella, and morning, Roland.
Yes,
morning,
I hope you're well.
Very fine, thank you. How
All
are
right.
you?
So very quickly, we've had the 2023 batch of unemployed trained teachers also complaining. Now, in their instance, they're saying that even though they all applied to get the job because the portal was open and they were made to pay some 25 Ghana cedis, to access the portal to see if they had successfully, completed the application and were employed, about 90% of them were described as unsuccessful without any explanation. 40,000 of them or so applied, and they were told that only 7,000 would make it.
Okay. Well, that wasn't unanticipated because we are told the quota was 7,000 and over 40,000 applied. The GAS told us that they were not recruiting based on the years, or if you like, the year of completion. And so to the extent that everyone who was in the system between 2020 and 2025 was licensed, they could apply. Mm-hmm. And then based on the subject need, based on the geographical need, and where the vacancy is, and other considerations, they would recruit. And so it was anticipated that very few, obviously, would make it to the final end. We have a problem on our hands, and the problem on our hands are two. I mean, we have two problems on our hands. The first is that there's a high expectation for teacher recruitment as a means of job creation. Mm-hmm. For me, that is a lesser problem. The bigger problem is how we approach teacher recruitment as a means for providing education inputs to facilitate teaching and learning. I stand under the umbrella of teacher for education inputs and not teacher for job creation. I believe that it is the responsibility of government to ensure that every child in Ghana has a teacher, regardless of their geographical location, or their income status, etc. And I don't subscribe to the idea that everyone who has a teaching certificate might be employed by the government. That it's not the responsibility of government to employ everybody who has a certificate. So I want us to focus more on the second issue, which is why we are here. Inequitable teacher distribution. Our challenge is that we've been recruiting teachers without evidence, largely without evidence. And so when we use the wholesale approach, if 15K complete college this year, then we are minded that in the next allocation or clearance, we engage all 15K and throw them into the system. That's what we've been doing. Now, we've been doing that and still populating and overpopulating urban schools with teachers they don't need, and denying rural schools of teachers that they need.
Yeah.
That's our situation. Not to talk about the bloated teacher payroll. Last year, every time they don't find how many ghost names, about 4,500 ghost names on the teaching payroll alone. And so it is not just a matter of recruiting anyone who has a license to teach. No serious government does that in the world. Okay. It is a matter of recruiting teachers and ensuring that they go to where they are needed, and ensuring that every child in the country has access to a teacher to provide them with free, compulsory, universal, quality basic education. And so let's focus on equitable teacher deployment and not teacher recruitment to fill jobs.
Now, in talking about equitable deployment, it's just like the health sector as well, where they are deployed to some remote areas. There's barely, enough resources for them to survive. And yet they are posted to those areas to teach. A number of them obviously would reject that.
Exactly, because we haven't addressed the systemic issues. The systemic issues, for me, top 4. The first one is that we have a centralized teacher and nursing deployment regime. Why is the junior recruiting teachers from Accra? Why? Who does that? Why? You see, we are in 2026. The lessons available to us, which we have not learned sufficiently, suggest that teachers who are recruited from the districts are more likely to stay or to be retained twice or thrice more than those who are retained, who are posted from somewhere to the districts. I will give you an example. If you take data from a district like Tatali Sanzi, you know that teachers who are there for 7-8 years are teachers who were recruited by the districts from around. So Kofi Asare Computer College lives around that Tatali area, and then they employ the person. It is easier for Kofi Asare to be there for more than 5 years than when you recruit Kofi Asare from Tamale or Tanarigu and you post them to Zamzugu. They will be there. But by the second year, they are in transit. Every 3 years, they are out. And then you create teacher students in Zamzugu. And once they're able to obtain assurance from a peri-urban or an urban area like Tamale, in year 3 or year 4, they are already surplus to manpower requirements in Tamale. That's why we have surplus teachers in Tamale and Tanarigu. So we have centralized teacher recruitment. But we know very well that having a portal that enables Kofi Asare to apply and select a district that they want to go, it's not decentralization. It is not decentralization because eventually Kofi Asare may have applied from Accra that he wants to go to Tatali. You post Kofi Asare from Accra to Tatali, he goes to the school, but he would do only 2 years there or 3 years and he's out. So you should have given much more prominence to Yamenu, who actually lives around that district and is likely to stay there for long. So we haven't decentralized our teacher deployment regime. Until we do so, we are going to have the challenges we are discussing. The second is the lack of incentives. It makes no policy sense for you to expect that the teacher who is teaching in Nkwanta South should earn the same salary as the one who teaches in Medina when they all attended perhaps at that training college. It won't work because the one in that community in Nkwanta South has limited opportunity for extra income. The one in the Medina will be doing extra classes and be taking about 1,000 or 2,000 a month extra income from just one student. And so, apart from that, socially, he is also disadvantaged because perhaps depending on the community you are, you may not be able to even, start a family there because you are in a new environment that you may not connect. And so, the incentives regime has never responded to the needs of teacher retention. The government promised that it will introduce a 20% allowance for teachers in deprived areas. That promise has been hanging in Ghana books since 2006, when the education reform was launched at the National Theatre. I remember very well in that our men's report. We'll be having conversations and conferences and committees and up to date. Yesterday, the minister announced that he's waiting for the data to submit to the finance ministry. That data has been waiting for 20 years because all the time the excuse we have from the system is that we have not been able to determine who is in the deprived area and who isn't a teacher in a deprived area. I hope we've gotten over that, and really is data that we are waiting for, because if we do not have those incentives in place and you post Kofi Asare today to Nkwanta South, I'm saying that by 2029 he is back in Adenta and we haven't solved any problem. And so second, we must incentivize not just rural posting, but rural teacher retention, so that there's a reason why teachers will not just be equitably distributed, but will be equitably retained. For me, these two things are very, very important. Other than that, we can deploy 20,000 every year. I'm saying that we will still have underserved schools in the rural areas, and we will have the overpopulated schools we are seeing in urban areas, even worsening.
Are you there, sir?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right. Roland.
And I know that your commentary, for which you've been as a think tank, very much agitated on, particularly on just the recurring automatic recruitment, is also because of quality and the mass numbers and its impact on education. But you also do agree, having monitored our education space over the last 2 decades, that is a political issue. How do you, based on advice and observation, do you think that the ministry needs to go about this?
The automatic, if anyone tells you they are going to recruit you automatically, it is not realistic. It is not feasible. It is not economical. Okay, so it will not pass the economy test. It will not pass the efficiency test, and it is not realistic. It's not sustainable. Why? 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that was a possibility, and indeed, that was the practice. Today, we have moved from the era where only 38 or so colleges of education were training teacher graduates. Okay, now we have universalized teacher training. KNUST is training teachers. University of Ghana, they have an education faculty there. They are training teachers. Labour, everybody training teachers. And so once you have the qualification of the B.Ed, you are able to request and to apply and write your license. If you are doing close to 60K or 50K license in a year, how can you say that you are going to recruit all teachers that license? It's possible. Because we are not in the era of controlled teacher posting where only 36 or so colleges were training teachers and government was even able to impose admission quotas as a way of reducing their numbers so that they are able to produce just what they need and absorb all. Those times are far gone. And I have always been against the practice of government controlling teacher admissions just so that government will be able to produce just the number it can absorb. I have always been against that because Professor wants to go to college and do B.Ed. Why say that I can't college education to admit only 400 instead of 600? Because government will only be able to admit to hire 400 4 years when Professor is complete. You are actually denying Professor's right to tertiary education. He has the right to choose the program he wants to do. And so you can't limit him to that extent. Universalizing teacher education also means that you cannot tie the state's hands and say that the government should employ everybody who is a licensed teacher. It's not possible. It's not practicable. So if you are licensed to teach both in the public and the private sector. Our laws require that private schools should also engage licensed teachers, except that we haven't seen a stringent application of that requirement in the Education Regulatory Bodies law. I'm sure the National Council is working on that. And so we must totally divorce ourselves from the past, where training colleges were training 12,000 and government was able to absorb 12,000 every year. Now we are doing about 60K teacher graduates from our faculties. All universities are doing our training teachers. And so it is not possible that government can recruit even half of all that are produced in a year.
All right.
Demand is a business.
Okay. Thank you very much. The students say it is possible. Kofi Asare, Africa Education War says it is not possible. Well, let's see what you think. Let's read 2 or 3 messages and then we'll call it a morning on this very, thorny subject, very sensitive subject about recruitment of those who have completed the colleges of education. I have this one from Domana Mwene, who says that they newly recruited NADMO officials have been without salaries for 15 months and their wives are running away from them and they are under pressure, stress as well, and they need assurance from leadership. I think the finance minister has been speaking on this. He said he wasn't aware, but he was going to work on it and that the NADMO management need to quickly do a follow-up. All right. And then this one says that I must be frank about the things going on. Almost all the 7,000 slots were sold. People paid between 17,000 to 20,000 before the application went through. It's very unfortunate. And then the issue of automatic posting will only come to into full force if the 4 badges are taken off, but by bits. You mean in bits, and the issue of allowance also cancelled. Apungang Karim Abubakar from Boko. And please kindly ask the Minister of Education what effort he is doing to upgrade teachers who passed promotion examinations last year and have been waiting to be put on the appropriate salary scale, I usually don't read the appellation, but yeah. So a quick reminder, 90% of private schools employ SHS graduates as teachers with salary margin between, this is where Bella comes in, this is Bella's baby for the morning, 300 to 1,000 Ghana cedis. And the trained teachers will not take this. So there's a problem.
Yeah.
But I think I agree with you. It's a policy issue, standards.
It is.
And it needs to be replicated across. All right. So that's what I have to call it money on the subject. But we have more discussions coming up on big issues with Bella. Please make sure you join. But we need some snacks.
Yes, we do. We want you to perk up your day the Milky Way with the rich, smooth taste of Perk Milk Shortcake. It is pure delight. And Papa Ro has some money to give you this morning. Actually.
Well, no, cash out. So you have to cash out, *439#. You have to choose option 2. You're going to get a prompt. That prompt is going to ask you how many tickets you want to stake. And the good thing is, if you stake higher numbers of the tickets, when the draws are done, you get to be lucky and win money into your mobile money account. For each of those draws, 500 Ghana cedis for your lunch today. And just going to about 10 people this morning. That's why we have to call it for a break. And then when we come back, we're rolling big time. Big issues next.
injections that have been made into Valco, which they think could amount to Valco being sold. And if that happens, they might or they may lose their jobs. And so yesterday, they organized or staged a demonstration, and we'll get into that conversation shortly. And then after that, we'll look at the situation of fuel prices in the country. In fact, COPEC has warned us that it's very likely that fuel prices would go up beyond the 14.45 Ghana cedis for petrol and 17.7 Ghana cedis for diesel, which is what we're paying at the moment. They're saying that looking at the volatility of the international market, it's likely that we may end up paying about 20 Ghana cedis for fuel by the end of this week or in the next couple of weeks. And so we'll have that conversation as well. And I'll introduce my guest to you shortly. But let's go into Valco and why these workers are staging a protest or staged a protest yesterday. Over 100 of them yesterday at the Volta Aluminium Company protested the sale of a company, or what they allege could be the sale of a company, over fears of job losses. And in fact, Valco has been up for private sector injection due to debt and operational inefficiencies. So we're told that some monies are being injected into Valco because they are operating way below capacity as it stands now. And this is not the first time that we'll hear something like this. In fact, there have been times, a number of times, that Valco has been shut down. So you go back to 2003, where it was closed completely. That was around May 2003. It was following deadlocks in power supply and tariff negotiations with the VRA. And it didn't open until 2006. That was how long it took for Valco to be reopened. Then you go to 2007, where another shutdown happened as well. Also for similar concerns, we're told that the water levels at the Akosombo Dam were actually low at that time. And so it made it almost impossible for them to rely on power from the ECG to produce the aluminium and all the other things that they produce. So they had to shut down again. That was between 2007 and 2013. And at that time, it was going to be the 11th time that Valco had shut down. And then you go into the other times, November 2022 as well. We're told that 127 cells of the aluminium smelter, which was, by the way, operating at 25% capacity, was shut down. And that followed intense worker agitations and protests over salary adjustments and labor demands. And so there have been a number of concerns with regards to Valco and how it is operating. How much is needed as it stands now to get Valco to operate at full capacity? About $600 million, we're told. That's how much we need. Unfortunately, these workers believe that with this injection that could go in, they may lose their jobs because they suspect that Valco will be so. So we'll take a look at the concerns that were expressed by some of them. GEADEC has come out to also allay fears that this alleged sale could be going to a very prominent businessman in the country who also happens to be the brother of the president, Ibrahim Mahama. His personal aide came out to debunk that reports that he has no interest in buying Valco. He's operated in this country for a number of years. It spanned across about 8 administrations, and so he doesn't see the need to want to clandestinely, buy Valco. That's not his interest. And then we'll take a look at the chairman of the Valco board, Horace Ni Ayankra, who is also insisting that there are actually no plans to sell Valco. Take a look.
As workers of this country, we are here to determine the fate of one of our premier companies that was bequeathed by Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to all of us. Yes. Is that not true? Yes. And it has been noticed that over the years, governments upon governments, successive governments have attempted to sell everything, and now they are at it again and they want to sell Valco. We are not here to do politics. We are not partisan politicians. We are labor unions, and our take is to make sure that jobs are created, because we have been assured by this current government that the unemployment situation in Ghana is becoming so dire, and measures and policies are being put in place to make sure that we create jobs, and it is the responsibility of government to create jobs. So the few state-owned organizations that we have in this country, we have to protect them, especially Valco. We used to have Kaiser Valco, and then they packed bag and baggage and left the source of this country and handed over this national asset to Ghanaians. So what the white man can do, the black man can do.
The state of Valco, as we speak, is that Valco currently has actually moved from where it used to stand still to making progress gradually under the leadership of John Dramani Mahama and his industrialization policy. We adhering to certain aspects of the policy have actually moved Valco from where it used to be standing still to making profit. As we speak, I know that the board and management and everybody else, we're looking for an investor. When we say an investor, well, some say strategic investor. I prefer to say an investor because strategic investor will be talking about shares, will be talking about dividends, and we'll be talking about power. But when you talk about investor, you know that's simply an investor who would want to just make his or her profit and then leave. So there's a dichotomy to this, and then the misinformation, disinformation, and all that, and the inability to get all stakeholders. And I like what Ebi Bright said. This is a listening government. This is a government that's going forward. I strongly believe that all stakeholders will be brought to the table.
So that's the chairman of Valco Board, Horace Ni Ayi Ankara. He says that there's only a plan to get an investor to inject that over $600 million that is required to help Valco get back on its feet. And so there's nothing about selling it. In the studios this morning, let me say good morning right across the table from me. Kojo Nsafapoku is an energy analyst. He's an NPP senior member. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have missed you.
You've added senior to my name now.
Ah, well, are you not a senior member?
I've gotten leading member. I've gotten...
So which one are you?
I'm an MPP member.
Okay, so MPP member.
Yes, the leading and seniors are just things.
Who once attempted?
Sorry?
Who once attempted to represent the party
but that
as
doesn't make
the
me
presidential
a
candidate? Have you been?
Very well. Since you left me and I'm in my small corner, everybody says, but Kojo, we thought Bella was your friend.
When you say left me,
I said, that's what I thought as well.
But you are still my friend.
No, Bella. Please. Distance. Even in marriage, a certain amount of separation now amounts to divorce.
Don't worry, you are still my friend. Don't worry. Also, next to him is Wanda Victor Kuto. He's a private legal practitioner and member of the NDC communications team, who is also running for what? Deputy communications?
Yeah, deputy national.
National communications.
Yeah,
officer. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All the best with that. How's it going?
Oh, so far so good. You know, I'm a grassroots person. I'm currently a national executive committee member. So we've been doing our work for the past 4 years as national officers.
Okay.
Our tenure will expire this December. And definitely, inshallah, we'll be going for re-election and I'll be moving towards the Deputy National Communication Officer portfolio. I mean, we've touched base with the grassroots. You know, I started from the constituency as the Deputy Constituency Secretary for Anglo before moving up to national. So the party would know this. For the NDC, you have to rise through the ranks. And experience is key.
I see. Yeah. Okay, well, all the best. We also have Austin to the Braco to the powers in the studios, and he's a private legal practitioner. I'm calling you this because that's what your Facebook fans call you. It's been a while. How are you doing?
Oh, we're managing.
You've been busy.
Taking the economy one step at a time. You know, trying to make do with whatever is thrown at us.
I thought you were going to represent Chairman Wontumi at a point. I didn't see that happen.
It won't happen.
It won't happen?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Dr. Ramsey Inusa is a director of research, United Party. We missed him last week, but it's good to see you this morning.
Thank you,
How are you doing?
Good morning.
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. I'm doing well, Bella. Just that, you know, we have our designated topics, but indeed, things that bedevil the country and our society are things that we also would bring out anytime we have the opportunity on this platform. You know, Bella, there is a canker, as anachronistic as it is and known by our people. The issue of laggards in our country is crippling a whole lot of trust in our system. Today, it's even worse because some members of the police service are part of it, and I see it as organized crime. I mean, something happened in my constituency where a property was bequeathed to a certain lady by a late father, and then all of a sudden, on a Sunday morning, land guards will storm the house, throw the things out, and start breaking windows and doors. And I even hear that they were escorted by some police officers. And how do you want the public to trust our police in this regard? And so, I mean, this canker and this repugnant act should not be tolerated in this republic. For God's sake, we are not living in a banana republic. We have laws. You understand what I'm saying? And if, indeed, people begin to lose trust in our institutions, then what is the essence of our democracy that we all want to preserve? And so I'm calling on the relevant authorities. Let me commend the Honorable Minister for Interior, because when I laid a complaint, and let me also commend the anti-Langard commander, Mr. Nafiu Shitu, a tremendous police officer who took up this matter and made sure that justice prevailed. But indeed, it is just one, but there are thousands.
There are lots of them, yes.
And these are vulnerable people who cannot even afford a lawyer, who do not know anybody. Do you have to know somebody for justice to prevail in this country? So it is a problem, and we have to really collectively ensure that we bring people to book, especially people in the police service, people in the judiciary, and indeed people that are politically linked or politicians that are complicit in this act.
Yeah, I agree. And recently as well, there was also another concern of the issue of land guards in a community that I live in as well. So I think that is definitely something that needs to be addressed because it is illegal. There's a law that was passed to make the issue of land guards illegal in this, or operations of land guards illegal in this country. It's the Vigilantism and Related Offences Act 2019 as well. But let's get into our conversation. And Kojo, I'll come to you shortly, but I just want Wanda to explain a few things to us before you come in and respond, and then I'll come to the rest of my guests. Wanda, what's this concern? Why would workers agitate? Because clearly they might be privy to some information indicating that Valco, or there's an attempt to sell Valco, and yet your government says there's no attempt. So where are they getting this idea from?
Yeah, thank you very much, Bella. Good morning to my team members here and to our cherished viewers. I mean, yesterday I also saw some of the clips on Facebook, on social media. Basically, we need to first look at the performance of Valco. Put it in that context. Then you could understand where their own workers, some of their workers are coming from. What's the performance of Valco as we speak? I understand they produce 40,000 metric tons of aluminium annually, instead of the 120,000 metric tons that they were originally, or their capacity was supposed to give them. So it means there's a shortfall of about 80,000 in terms of the production level at Valco. That's the current state. Now, you've rightly said that in terms of finances, they need about $600 to about $700 million to inject for the plant to come back to maximum productivity. So it means that clearly there are some challenges at Valco. For those of us who have stayed in Tema, Ashama for a very long time, we know how Valco used to be. Bella, if you go to Committee 4, the Valco Clubhouse, those times, we used to jealous the kids of the parents who work at Valco because of the facilities there, the tennis court, the gym, restaurant. But all those things are no longer there. They're no longer viable. So clearly, there's no two ways that Valco is dropped. But for oath of secrecy and all of that, where I sit, I have full information on Valco.
Okay.
I sit on the VRA board. VRA supplies power to Valco. But because of oath of secrecy and all certain things, I will not divulge certain information. But all is not well with Valco.
Is that why you are trying to sell it?
It's not about. I'm trying to build the point. So all is not well with Valco. Government has indicated that strategic, or you could see that there's effort to get strategic partner to come in to help Valco. Strategic partner.
Even though Horace says that he would rather not use the term strategic, because when a strategic partner comes in, then they now decide who stays and who goes, etc. So he'd rather refer to it as partner. So which is which? Because he's the board chair of Valco.
The nomenclature, the name, the point is that they will need some kind of help, support That is the bottom line. VACO needs help. They need support. Now, you can understand why some people want to link the president brother into this whole support issue. Because Mr. Ibrahim Mahama has done incredibly well in the mining sector. No two ways about that, Bella. This is a fact. He has done so well. But to bring somebody who has not even shown interest, who has not made any offer into this whole equation, is professional blackmail. Yes, Ibrahim Mahama is good. Yes, Ibrahim Mahama is doing very well in the mining sector. But the point is, has he made an offer? Has he shown any interest? So I'm not surprised that Mr. Samuel Tando, one of the senior staff of VACO, has come out to say that, look, those who engage on that, about 80% of them are not staff of VACO. But that is not even the point. The issue is, as government, this current government created an enabling environment for VACO to strive.
Have you?
We have. You just listen to the media review. Look at inflation. Look at the exchange rate stability. Look at the GDP growth. So clearly, the enabling environment has been created for VACO to strive.
How?
But the point
I'm
is,
trying to get the connection here.
But the point is, no, you get it.
Okay.
But the point is, VACO over the years, his performance has dropped. To the extent that instead of producing at about 120,000 metric tons, they are now doing 40,000. So clearly, with the shortfall of 80,000, it means that they are not doing well. So there's a need for the partnership. But I still do not understand why some workers will say it is Ibrahim Mahama. Is it the case that they are anticipating that because of his excellent performance in the mining sector, if government is to privatize portion of it, he's the most suitable? So let's paint him black in the eyes of the public. So that when it now comes out, people say, oh, we said it. Bella, that is my worry. Because the fact is, VACO needs help. This morning, my brother Austin, lawyer Austin, was showing me a list of government companies who are into joint venture. I mean, government and private persons. And they are doing quite well. But let me also say that not all sales have gone well in this country. I remember under the MPP regime, Ghana Telecom was sold to Vodafone. A strategic national asset like communication. Some of us at the time, as young as we were at the time, felt that no, should never be sold. In this country, under the Kufuor regime, communication was sold out. Ghana Telecom to Vodafone. Yet, Vodafone couldn't survive in the market. Arguably so. They couldn't survive. I believe now it's Telecel also. They couldn't survive. So not all sale helps. But for joint ventures, we have seen. Even, I think, under the last regime, PDS, ECG, they kind of sold ECG to PDS. But what happened? It didn't go anywhere. So for joint ventures may be welcome. But the point is, the workers, they are looking at their interests about jobs, how to secure their jobs. But let's ask ourselves, Bella, with this current performance of VACO, which I have outlined, should we leave it as that for the current workers to just be as it is, getting their what is due them, and then go on retirement? Should we leave it as that? Why not allow government to put in mechanism to strengthen it, to strengthen VACO, so that it can even create more jobs beyond them? Today, Bella, if you are asked, where will your brother or junior sister want to work, you will never mention VACO. You will mention Bank of Ghana. You will mention GMPC. You will mention VRA. But I'm not sure you will mention VACO. Because the fact is, they have become, it is no longer attractive. I've told you, I spent part of my years in Ashama. I schooled in Tema. So I know how VACO used to be. But VACO is no longer there. And VACO needs support. Okay. And I've told you that because of what I see, and I'm not going to disclose, I know the current state of VACO. You understand? VACO, as it stands now, and distress, financial distress. So no two ways that they need support. Even if Ibrahim Mahama is to support them and is qualified, are we going to say because he's the president's brother, he shouldn't help them? Even if, of course, his team, his spokesperson came out yesterday to debunk that. Let me repeat that here. Rafik Mahama came yesterday and said, look, he has not shown any interest, he has not made any offer, and he's not interested in that. Let me state that clear over here. But the point is, why then do some workers want to blackmail him?
Is that what they are doing?
But that is it, Bella.
Protest? So you think that protest is more of a blackmail?
But did you listen to
yes, I did.
The voices, what they were saying as they were marching? Bella, all what they did yesterday was targeted at Ibrahim Mahama. For somebody who has not shown any interest, who has not made any offer.
It's unfair when you say that about them, that all that they did was targeted at him in particular.
But did you watch?
No, I did.
Did you watch
of course. We even played a bit of that as well.
I just couldn't believe it.
My point is...
But why not you? Why not me? Why did they mention our names? Ibrahim Mahama.
Do you have the money to buy Valco?
Exactly. So I'm telling you.
So you say why not you? Why not me?
So it means
you and I don't have the money for
so
it.
Now because he's doing well in the mining sector, they have to blackmail him.
Is that what it is? Or they always say there's no smoke without fire. So could there be? Could they have also gotten wind of something? Maybe not necessarily directed at Mr. Ibrahim Mahama, but the fact that there's an attempt to sell.
I've just told you.
Okay.
The smoke here is that Valco is not performing, so they need support. 2, Ibrahim Mahama is in the mining space and performing very well.
Okay. All right. Good morning to our viewers on Facebook as well. Okay, I'll leave that. But Money says, okay, never mind. I'll come to the comments later. But let me come to you, Kojo. I mean, you also have a lot of insights with regards to energy in this country, Valco in particular as well. What really is the challenge? We know that as it stands now, Valco is in debt of about $450 million. Now we're looking for some $600 million to inject into it. Where you sit, should it be sold, or should they rather, like government is saying, go in for a strategic investor to help it get back on its feet?
Let me say good morning to Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, the leader of the MPP. And I also want to say good morning to our team and supporters across the country. Look, it's funny how my brother is speaking and all the examples of bad sales, he only cited the ones in MPP. Meanwhile, there are a lot of bad sales of companies in the NDC. At least you could have balanced it out and mentioned some of the ones that you guys also saw that it didn't go well. But you know what? When you are a worker of an institution like Valco, there was an open request for tender in October 2025. It's public knowledge. The report of that competitive bidding, call it whatever you want, request expression of interest, whatever, was concluded in January 2026. Right? I thought my brother would have shed light on that. He didn't. I thought the board chairman would have shed light on that. He didn't. We are making it look like something is a secret. It's not. The company, the government, decided that they wanted to invite investors. They got expression of interest. They've reviewed it. January, the report was submitted. As we speak, 5 months, 6 months down the line, we don't know the report, the state of the report, and we don't know a single company's name. Why the secrecy? You see why the workers are worried? Because if you have companies that have tendered or submitted expression of interest, it's public knowledge. But the report of the people that were shortlisted, that report is kept lock and key secret. You see, my brother, Valco is not just an average conversation. The NDC is going about it the wrong way. Most governments have gone about Valco the wrong way. Look, when Valco was established, Valco was brought into this country for a reason. We had built Akosombo. We didn't have all the 1,200 installed capacity at the time. We didn't have use for it. So the Americans brought a company that offtake that power at 2 to 3 cents a kilowatt hour in the 1960s. That made Valco profitable. Smelting companies around the world, or smelters around the world, do not make any profit above 6 cents kilowatt hour. If the chairman said something that I'm very disappointed in the word he used, that he wants an investor, not a strategic investor. Who would dump $600 million in a company that has a debt of $450 million and walk away, call me when you need more or you have my money? Who would do that, Bella? Everybody that is going to give you $1 is going to be a strategic investor because he has an interest in whether he will get his money back. Two things is happening now. He says he sits on VRA. VALCO doesn't have a power purchase agreement. They don't. They've been negotiating because VRA cannot sell power to VALCO at the price that VALCO wants. I've heard Honorable Amabua talks about investors should, I don't think it's Amabua, but somebody within either GUIDEC or ministry is saying that two conditions for an investor. The person should guarantee the workers doesn't get laid off, and they should bring in a power generating, they should bring in to generate power. They can't. You cannot bring gas to generate power. You know how much power VALCO needs? 380 megawatts at full capacity, right?
Yeah.
Now, today, as I speak to you, AXA, one of the IPPs, is building a 380 in Kumasi. They've done the first 220. Do you know what the price per kilowatt hour for that AXA plant? They are doing 10.6 cents under the PPA they have. 10.6 cents, VALCO cannot run. The cost of building a power plant is over $600 million. So you talk about $600 million investment. This VALCO is indebted to $450 million.
Yeah.
They need power plant. Let's say even gas can help them, right? They need about $600 million for a power plant. Then they need money to repair the port lines that are obsolete and all the infrastructure. So they're talking billions of dollars investment. But a gas power plant cannot work for VALCO. What the strategic position of VALCO is that it is stuck in the middle where it cannot be a fully private owned and it cannot be a fully government owned. Reason being that if you are to give a certain price of power to VALCO, the entire Ghanaian community has to subsidize VALCO. In the Dr. Bawumia manifesto, what we proposed was that we have Akosombo, which is a base load, right? When you look at the pot of generation, the reason me and you pay what we pay today is because Akosombo is 6 cents, call it, right? And the thermals are about 10 to 11 cents. So you put that 6 cents and the 10 to 11 cents in one pot, and me and you pay what we pay.
Okay.
What the Dr. Bawumia manifesto proposed was that we were going to now take a bigger chunk of Akosombo and dedicate it to VALCO.
Rather?
Yes, so that we will now bring on board solar. Okay, so the Dr. Bawumia manifesto looked at solar being a cheaper alternative. So government was going to invest, the 2,000 megawatts of solar over 4 years. So we're going to bring in solar to augment what we take out of Akosombo. Because today, with good tender and good financing, you can do solar at 4 cents. Okay? So instead of now trying to, because you can't give solar to VALCO because of the intensity, right? So the proposal was a well thought out plan that let's give the base at about 380 megawatts of the base load, which is Akosombo, to VALCO. But when you do that, it automatically now makes the basket of what me and you pay more expensive because you have to replace it with thermal. If you don't bring on board the other alternative, which is cheaper. So it is not something for just the Ministry of Amabua to do. There has to be 3 ministries involved or 3 entities. You need the Ministry of Energy firmly at that table. Because if today I hear that they want VALCO to operate within 1 year, it's not possible. If VALCO takes out 380 megawatts from, let's say magically there's an investment, right? And VALCO takes out 380 megawatts from our generation, there will be doom so. Looking at our demand and where we are in terms of excess, our installed capacity, reserve margin, and all the likes, there will be doom so. Because we can't afford to take 380 and dedicate it to VALCO. So you need the Minister of Energy at that table. You need the GUIDEC at that table, and you need the government, the president, because you need to give certain incentives to VALCO to be profitable. So you cannot do it outside the presidency.
Kojo, what was done in the last 8 years? That
Okay,
the NPP
so
was
in the
power?
last 8
Because
years,
we shouldn't be
okay,
here.
so the same issue of trying to find a strategic investor. But like I said to you, finding $1 billion is difficult, Bella. Don't let's think that $600 million anybody can just walk. I mean, people have mentioned my brother Ibrahim. He should be flattered, right? That people think that he has that kind of money to just wash away, because that is what you're going to do. You need to be able to do a proper assessment of VALCO, look at vis-a-vis, putting it in a good stead. A lot of work was done trying to find a strategic investor for VALCO. But it's not easy, my sister.
Because of the money involved.
Because of the money involved and the situation it's in, vis-a-vis the power situation.
Did we prioritize that?
It was prioritized, but you see,
we
look,
saw a lot of money going into other things under the MPP.
Yes.
That up until now, they've still not been completed.
Yes.
If VALCO was that important, why didn't we channel,
but the
for
government
example, the
doesn't
National
have the money
Cathedral
to
and
put
that money
into,
that
you
was
see,
used?
Look, 600 million, you know all the things they can go into, right? Government's priority will be the social infrastructure, the health, education, and all that. So yes, that was priority. The ones that can be self-generating with IGFs, that one you need the private sector to come in. But you see, what you need to do for the private sector to come in, and arguably, maybe a lot more could have been done, and I agree with you on that, that look, we could have. But we keep situating VALCO as, oh, jobs, jobs, jobs. We keep making that mistake with TOR, we keep making that mistake with ECG and with VALCO. It is not a job-creating institution. It should be a profit-making institution first. Then, if there is jobs to be created, that's secondary. Every politician keep talking about that thing. Oh, they create jobs and jobs and jobs. No, without profit, how do you pay? So if the institution, VALCO, two things needs to happen. One, sustainability, because the reason VALCO was brought in was because of our excess energy that we had in the 60s. We don't have that anymore. So how do we now fund the energy need of VALCO at 5 cents? That is where the conversation starts.
Where were you in all this?
I was not in government. Bella, me and you were friends, and I sat here and I was not in government.
But you were still a member.
No, I'm a member of the party. I keep saying that. People keep confusing that political parties and the government are not the same thing.
Dr. Baumia was the vice president.
Yes.
These
and he will tell you,
that
is why we said that let Dr. Baumia be president, and some of us who advised Dr. Baumia presidency.
Does he need to be president before?
Yes,
he was vice president.
Vice
he was
president,
second in command. If you had these fantastic ideas,
Dr.
why
Baumia,
didn't we safeguard
You're asking me where I was, right?
You mentioned yourself and Dr. Baumia.
So Dr. Baumia was the leader of the party going to 2024 election. Dr. Baumia had brilliant ideas because he put together a team to help him put up that idea. The president at the time had his own team to advise him.
So they didn't have brilliant ideas?
I don't want to speak for that, but the point I'm making is that a lot was done in 2016 to 2024, but yes, I agree with you, a lot more could have been done. But the conversation going forward is not just people doing political talk and people just doing something to do with, oh, let's make it more of a job creation venture, VALCO workers need job. No. The fundamental issue would be, is VRA prepared to sell at 5 cents to VALCO? That is the start. And if that's the case, what is the implication of taking 380 megawatts of our power from Akosombo to VALCO? How would that imply on the broader Ghanaian community? So that conversation needs to be had. Look, I feel for the workers. And the only reason the workers are in red on the streets is because of the secrecy. A report has been done as far back as January. The government is hiding the report. God knows why. Let's look. I keep saying that we need to sit around the table to move this country forward. This whole thing about, I'm in government, I can do it. You don't know. Most people on the table today, until you are given that appointment, you've never done that transaction before. Most people in government today have never done a $600 million transaction, and they're the ones advising on these things.
Let me bring Dr. Ramsey in. And good morning to the CEO of GEADEP, by the way. We're going to try and reach out to you, if it's possible, so you can speak to us on this matter, because they also released a statement yesterday debunking all reports and statements that there was an attempt to sell VALCO. at any point in time, not to Dr. Ibrahim, Mr. Ibrahim Mahama, and not to any other person. There's no attempt to sell. We'll speak to him if there's a chance.
When you say there's no attempt to sell, there's an attempt to sell because they've done the bid.
But
so when you say there's no attempt to sell,
selling. You hold on. The CEO will come so that he can respond to this.
Okay.
Because they have released a statement. They said there's no plan to sell it. But let me bring Dr. Ramzi Nusa in so he can also respond to this as well.
Well, let me say good morning to my colleagues on this platform and to your good self and to the good people of Ghana. Indeed, listening to Kojo speak on this matter and referencing Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, I feel scandalous this morning.
My brother, let's stop that thing where you guys just want to attack
Kojo, but when you were speaking, hold on.
Let's stop that.
You know, it's not fair when you do this. You made your statement. He may not have agreed with your statement, but he was silent.
My statement, please, let's get it. This thing that UP does is not right.
We are discussing.
We are discussing
your turn, then you can now raise your objection.
We are discussing Valco. You don't start by saying Dr. Bawumia scandal.
You don't tell him where to start.
No, but they should stop it.
Allow him to make his point.
They should stop it. How is that? Ghanaians are watching that. They should stop that.
You two stop it at this point. Allow him to make his statement. Note it down. When it gets your turn.
I'm not going to note it down. They should stop it. The UP just want to attack Bawumia. Why?
Allow him to make his point.
He should go ahead.
How do you know he wants to attack
But he just did.
Make his statement.
But he just
Let
did.
him make his statement, please.
Why are you attacking Bawumia?
Please, let's respect each other, please. Doc.
You know, a Greek philosopher once said that when the debate is lost, slander becomes the tool of the opponent. So
Say to yourself. That's what you just did.
I'm not surprised what the MPP is doing this morning. But let me go ahead and I state emphatically that I feel scandalous, right? That you are referencing Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as having solutions and policies to being a panacea to these issues. 8 years of your government, and I repeat, 8 years. In 2022, this process of privatization of Valco or certain aspects of Valco started under your regime. You knew the challenges, yet still you did not. I have the communique here. This is, as of 2022, a new Valco beacons. Government seeks strategic investor to galvanize integrated aluminium industry. In this statement, press release by Giadec, they did not state any issues of power generation crisis that Valco faced, even though we know that Valco is highly indebted to VRA, right, and GRA, and other suppliers. We know very well, and that's why I concur with the figure, and it's between $400 to $450 million debt, right? Under this press release, I have not seen anything to show that effect. So the ideas he is professing, I'm surprised they didn't implement it under their regime.
He says there was a different team.
Which different team? He's talking about Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He was the head of the economic management team. That's why I said I feel scandalous.
You see?
What different team?
That's what
is Bawumia. Please, when you are speaking, I was quiet.
He didn't even mention.
Please.
No, but you cannot tell him who you reference. Allow him. Oh, that's disrespectful.
Oh, really?
It's not. Please, let's
really?
not do that.
Really?
It's not
really? Really?
It's not.
So why are you here? Why are you here? Who insulted? I didn't insult. I said I feel scandalous. I feel scandalous.
You should stop that.
I feel scandalous. I feel scandalous.
Stand for that.
Please.
What are you talking about?
Open their mouth.
I told you.
What is this about?
Hold on.
Are we here? Is this a marketplace or what?
Make a statement. When it gets to your turn.
The UP is doing that. Let's stop it.
Please. The UP is not doing anything.
That's what you're doing.
The UP is not doing. We are sticking true to facts.
This is not nice.
How?
The UP should stop.
Please.
This is not nice.
Honorable Allen has turned you guys into.
No. You see, now you are also veering into that.
Really?
But Mr. Allen is not here. I understand. You brought up.
Is that what you are instructed to do? To interject people when they are speaking?
How did he insult him?
How did I insult Bawumia?
Did you hear what he said?
What did he say, Kojo? So relax.
Because they should stop it.
Relax. I told you.
He feels scandalous.
How is that an insult?
No, that's not a scandalous thing. What he said. What did he say apart from that?
You see, we need to.
What?
You see, there's serious matter
as long as he moved, he leave Bawumia out of it.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
No, you can't tell me. You can't tell me what
to make his point.
I think that Bella, I've given him a lot of rope.
Please.
The next time he interjects me,
Please.
You will not like the show this morning.
Carry on.
Doc, I have just respected him and I've respected myself and I'm respecting my party on this platform. You cannot just sit down here and dictate to us what we should speak and how we should speak about things. When you were speaking, I was quiet. I did not agree with some of the things you said. Some of the things you said, I agreed. And if you were patient to listen, you would understand where I'm coming from. We're talking about, and I like the fact that you referenced the National Cathedral. $97 million. PDS, how much we lost in PDS? How much we wasted on the NAPCO policy? How much we wasted on the planting for food and jobs? And the other scandals against the MPP that are even under investigation. Talk about even the Exim Bank case that is in court today against Wuntumi, right? What I want Kojo to understand is that the people of Ghana are more learned now. They can see between the lines. And so if you are here to just try and distract the UP as the panacea to Ghana's woe, and indeed a responsible opposition, it would not work. It would not work. It has never worked and it's not going to work. Bella, let's move to the subject matter. VALCO is a strategic asset for our nation. And indeed, in the 60s when it started, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah had a vision. And that was our cardinal industrial agenda at that time, right? As it stands today, there's nothing to write home about VALCO. And as a person who upholds to the tenets of capitalism, right, I do not see anything wrong in bringing in a strategic private investor to help support VALCO. I mean, it's a distressed asset as it stands today. And we need what we call in the investment landscape, we call them vulture investors. We need vulture investors to come in strategically, to come and leapfrog VALCO. When it was established, it had a capacity to smelt about 200,000 metric tons. Today is underperforming, 40 to 50,000, right? And with this strategic investor coming in place, injection of $600 million, we are going to expect about 300,000 metric tons a year, right? Which would generate millions of dollars for our country. In the issue of energy that Kojo highlighted, I think that we have not been just with our energy mix as a country. I do not see the rationale why Ghana still relies on about 70% of non-renewable energy for its electricity production, right? And that has contributed to, I would say, the issues of prices of energy across board. And that is why, you remember, at a particular point in time, we were losing investors to Ivory Coast and Togo, and they were rushing to Ivory Coast as a result of the prices of electricity per kilowatt hour. And so in the United Party's Great Transformational Plan, we see it as a need and indeed a necessary step to look at other alternatives like nuclear energy. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah ensured that he created the platform where Atomic Energy Commission was established. And indeed, it was his vision to ensure that Ghana would roll onto that nuclear energy as its energy solution going forward. But unfortunately, we've not been able to leverage on that. So I think that strategically, we need to go back to that and see how best we can revitalize our nuclear energy source. I believe that there are different ways to looking at this matter, okay? Another option that I see is to sell some of VALCO's stocks to the Ghana Exchange stock markets with optional employees, optional shares. So that employees that feel that, okay, there's some form of private hands or capital in it will lose their jobs, would also have an opportunity to also invest. Or maybe given some form of sweat in exchange for equity. I think that this is the discussion that the government can look at. One of the things that I agree across board is why the name of the investor, the strategic investor, is not out yet in the open. I mean, this is a national asset. It belongs to all of us on this table, right? It is our responsibility, or it's government's collective responsibility to ensure that the strategic investor is known. But there's a whole propaganda out there. And as somebody who believes in an enterprise economy, if Mr. Ibrahim Mahama decides to invest or has partners abroad and wants to bring in them and jointly invest in Valco, what is the matter? And so what? Bella, and so what? What is the matter? Today, we hear billionaires and, serial entrepreneurs in Nigeria, the likes of Abdul Samad Bua, the likes of Aliko Dangote.
Yeah.
Right? Don't we have to create a platform where we should support our entrepreneurs, irrespective of who they are affiliated or related to?
Yeah.
Is this how shallow we have to debate on matters involving our national? Ibrahim Mahama is not a public official. He's not an appointee of the government. And so if Mr. Ibrahim Mahama wants to invest in this asset and leapfrog this asset so that it will bring some benefit to our country, what is the matter?
Well, at least now he says
if
not even
Honorable
interested.
Kennedy Japan as well wants to also look into this matter. Indeed, he is even an entrepreneur in this field. He owns a factory like that somewhere around Tema. That's is in line with Ghana's ability to smelt iron. I think he has a factory like that in Tema. If he also sees a need in going into this venture or trying to assimilate some of the shares of Valco, what is the problem? And the rationale that once there's a majority shareholder or equity holder, the person takes control over the company is neither here nor there. In equity investment, we have what we call classes of shares. And for those that know this, right, the likes of Mark Zuckerberg, his shares have been diluted to about 5 or 7%, but he still has control over Facebook.
Yeah.
He still determines how Facebook is run because of the classes of shares. So those that are saying that if maybe we float out 80% or we sell 90% or even 99% of Valco's share, it means that we are losing control. It is neither here nor there. It depends on what the agreement is on paper.
Okay.
And if indeed it has to take that for us to revamp Valco, so be it.
All right.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Very shortly, we'll have the CEO of Geadec join us via Zoom so we can speak to him. He's also shared some concerns. Says the process to get an investor, like Dr. Inusa said, started in 2022, and the same is being continued. In fact, he says that report is not in secret. The reports that Kojo was referencing, he says it's not in secret. It's not accurate. The report was handed over to the management of Valco, and a copy was given to the board of Valco as well. Again, the Ministry of Energy was on the table, and the selection process involved 4 integral ministries: Energy, Finance, Trade, Lands. Valco and Geadec were also part of it. But, Council, let me come to you. What are your thoughts on this as well?
Bella, I think we need to get some basics right. Is there going to be a sale? I'm hearing, no, there's no sale. There's a sale. But if you are seeking to offload 70% of your equity control in a company, what is it?
What does that mean? Yeah.
Is it not sale? Are you pampering somebody? We just need to communicate to Ghanaians. Tell the people the reality. Let's not hide behind, oh, it is not sale. But you are offloading 70% of your equity control of the company. And you retain 30%. We must be able to see through the conversation. Let's be upfront with the people so as to avoid disappointment tomorrow. Because when you tell them that you are not selling a portion of or the majority of your shares in Valco to any company, and they will believe it because they are seeking to protect their jobs. Tell them the truth. You are seeking to sell 70% of your equity control shares in Valco to another person or another entity. Let's streamline the conversation. Let's streamline the conversation. Point out what needs to be pointed out. And again, the issue about job losses. Will there be job losses? In fact, Bella, there will be job losses.
Yeah.
Let's tell the people. Why? We are bringing in, or we are seeking to bring in a strategic investor to buy 70% of the shares, who will eventually may dictate how to restructure the organization or the company. And you are saying that we will retain the people over there, all of them there. Bella, I just don't like the way we normally hide behind some of these things. When you know the truth is staring at you in the face, glaringly staring at you, tell the people.
And that would have avoided, all this would have been avoided.
No, you see,
that truth
that's why I always say that you manage expectation by pushing the truth out. You see, when the people are able to swallow the truth, even though it will be bitter in the beginning, but the reality will dawn on them. There will be job losses. If workers of VACO are listening to us, I'm telling them, there will be job losses. If you've been told that there won't be job losses, don't buy that. Because we've seen the strategic sale of state institutions. It didn't start today. It started some years ago. Were there no job losses? There were. So I want us, let's be able to, push forth, a very clean politics. Tell the people. Because this government campaign on the back of truth and accountability. So tell the Ghanaians. Don't let partisan profit prevent you from telling the people what they need to hear. 1, you are selling 70% of your shares. 2, and it is sale. It is, however you call it, it is sale. Again, 2, there will be job losses. Tell the workers that there will be job losses so that they can manage the expectation. And another thing is that, well, is this new? Is the attempt to sell part of our shares in VACO new? Did it start today? Don't forget that VACO itself did not start as 100% equity control. Yeah. So we must be able to have this conversation. And sometimes when people speak, oh, no, don't sell because we need full control. Full control. Are you aware of the issue of VACO? Ghana did not have 100% control over VACO. We only assumed 100% in 2004 when under President Kufuor, when we paid $80 million to the Kaiser Aluminium Company. So we must understand that we are not going to a position we've never been before. This position government is seeking to move us to. We've been there before. And what were the stories? Were they scary? Did you survive? And what are the recurrent challenges? We must be able to look at all these conversations. Bella, I must point out, Bella, I've been against the sale of strategic national assets. And which is why the last time we had the conversation, when you had to do it, the privatization of ECG, I was strongly opposed to that because I felt electricity, and I still feel electricity is an essential commodity now that everybody needs. And when you sell your majority shares to a private individual, Bella, it means you are raising the prices will be high for Ghanaians. An ordinary Ghanaian may not be able to access it. But let me tell you, VACO, the 70% shares they are seeking to sell, I'm in full support of it.
Okay.
Because we need VACO to work. And I'm asking myself, I was asking a few colleagues, should they take money from profiting state institutions to support you? It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
If you are not making profit, why should we take the money from and support you? You do understand? And historically, when you look at the performance of VACO, it didn't and the performances of VACO, it didn't start today. Way years back. We've seen one government in, one government out, another government in. Mama 1, Mama 2, VACO was not doing well. And Akufo-Addo, VACO was not doing well. Because I was sharing with my brother, when you look at the 2019, between 2020 and 2020, SIGA's report.
Yeah.
When you look at the state institutions and the joint ventures that were posting dividend, VACO was nowhere near. So, let's not oppose every decision of the government. Sometimes we need to rationalize and find out, is it in the interest of the country? How about you pour water into a basket that has holes? Let's address the people. And you see, Bella, finally, the workers are saying they've done enough to bring VACO to a level where VACO is doing well. It's okay. We commend them. But we need to move forward. And for the next move, we need strategic investors. You get it? Parliament approved, don't forget, Parliament approved the sale in 2008, which never materialized. Then there was, and as you were aware, there was a cabinet approval between 2021 and 2022. Yeah. So before this sale is completed, Bella, the agreement will still go to Parliament again. Because the agreement passed by Parliament in 2008 does not hold any longer. So that is where we may be privy to, we will get the opportunity to know who the strategic investor is. If they don't want to bring it out, we'll get it when they send it to Parliament. Because Parliament must sanction this deal. And they must give full disclosure. And Parliament is not made up of only NDC MPs. We have all the other political parties. We have MPP over there. We have the independent candidates over there. Yeah. So Bella, 3 things. We are selling part of our shares in VACO. So it's sale. So the issue about sale or not sale, it's sale.
It's sale.
Would there be job losses? Yes, there will be job losses. Because you can't have 10 people doing one thing.
Yeah.
For what?
When there's not enough money coming
for what?
Being generated, okay.
Then third one, GIADEC, if GIADEC does not disclose who the strategic investor is, definitely the deal will go to Parliament. And Parliament will disclose everything.
All right, let's speak to the CEO. He's on Zoom at the moment. Reindorf Chumesi Ankra, he's the CEO of GIADEC. Good morning, sir. Reindorf, are you there?
If GIADEC does not disclose who the strategic investor is, definitely the deal will go to Parliament. And
Reindorf.
Parliament will disclose it.
Reindorf,
let's speak to the CEO.
We didn't quite catch it. You are listening to yourself on TV, so if you can just reduce the volume so we can hear from you directly.
Morning, Bella. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. So just reduce the volume on your TV set because it's giving us feedback and it's delaying the conversation.
Hello? Hello?
Can you hear us?
We didn't quite catch it. You are listening to yourself on TV. So
sorry.
Reindorf.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good
okay,
morning,
awesome.
Bella. Good morning to your team and good morning to Ghanaians watching us this morning.
All right. Reindorf, is VACO being sold? And if it's being sold, who is it being sold to?
Okay, so Bella, let me just quickly say that what we are embarking on is a strategic capitalization, equity capitalization, which requires that the government of Ghana will cede a portion of its ownership in VACO to a strategic investor where ownership will be shared between the parties, but capital will be brought by the private investor to turn around VACO. That is what we are doing.
When you say cede a portion, what percentages are we looking at?
Yeah, in terms of the percentages, the team is yet to be put together to start the negotiations. So we don't have a definite percentage. But the proposals that came from all the interested companies were structured in line with the GIADEC Act. And in all of this conversation, many people have not adverted their minds to the fact that the GIADEC Act clearly stipulates that in any development within the integrated aluminum industry, which is bauxite value addition, should be structured such that GIADEC itself and a local Ghanaian company or local Ghanaian entity would hold not less than 30%. That is what the Act itself says. And so all the proposals that came were drawn in accordance with that, and they were all asking for 70%. But the actual terms have not yet been decided. We are yet to negotiate and finalize on anything. What has been done so far was that a team or a strategic committee was put together to evaluate proposals that were received for the modernization and retooling of VACO. And let me also add that my brother, the doctor, I didn't quite catch his name, stated correctly, the VACO was built with a nameplate capacity of 200,000, which is accurate. What we are also seeking to do is to add an additional capacity of 100,000. So we intend to increase the capacity to 300,000. So that is also part of the package that an investor is bringing. It is not just coming to sit and retool the 200,000 without more. It's going to add an additional, and that is part of it. So the 600, the amount, the price tag that was determined in 2022 memo is for the retooling. It doesn't even include what is going to be used for operations and then other infrastructure development.
Okay. Now, there seems to be a concern about the level of secrecy surrounding, this deal. And for counsel, for example, he says that at this point, we should even know, in order to manage, the temperature in the country, you need to have put out some information. First of all, letting the workers know exactly what the situation is like on the ground, if this agreement should go through with whatever company. And secondly, Ghanaians need to know who these companies are that have sent in their 70% proposal. Why is that not happening?
So, Mr. Opoku, is
yes,
it Mr.
Opoku, yes.
Clearly stated, sir. I believe he's been in government before. He was part of the team, Dr. Baumia's team. So he understands how decisions in government are taken. In every memo that goes to cabinet, there's a communication plan, which is where the stakeholder engagement falls. So you follow through the decision until you get to that. You cannot put the cart before the horse. And as Mr. Bracco Powers in the studio has already indicated, that the extensive engagement of processes have been done. All the stakeholders, that VACO GIADEC, were involved in the selection process, which I believe would have trickled down to the staff. And if the staff were not involved as we are making it, if the staff were not aware of the process as we are making it claim, then what is the basis for the demonstration? They are aware that a process is ongoing. And if I understand clearly why the sentiments expressed, expressed yesterday at the demonstration, it is just about job security, nothing more, nothing less. I don't think if you go to VALCO today, you'll find any worker there who will tell you that they don't need that support, that capital or financial support. They need it. They are the ones there, they know it best. They need it. And so this whole discussion about workers are not aware or workers do not, I don't subscribe to it. The workers are very much aware. Okay. But the point is we can't communicate what has not been done. We are yet to start negotiations. The ministry is now putting together a team which will be government's negotiation team to engage with the investors to finalize the definitive terms of whatever is going to be done. So until that is done, I don't know what we are expected to communicate.
But
what we can communicate as GIADEC, we have done that in several press releases, that we are going to ensure that there will be no job losses. And that brings me to the point that was made by my very good friend, Bracco Powers. You see, people fail to appreciate the fact that VALCO is a specialized agency. So VALCO's workforce is not the kind of workforce that you can just get out from a bank and just find yourself there. It requires specialized skill.
Okay.
And as we speak, if anybody comes in, they will need about 5-10 years to even train people who will be qualified enough to do that kind of job that the workers are doing now. So that is why we are very confident, and we keep saying that there will be no job losses, because as at now, like Mr. Poku rightly said, VALCO's capacity is not the best. It's not the one that we are all hoping for. So which means that man-hour time is not even optimal. So if someone is coming to inject money to turn the place around and make it operate optimally, I don't think that the person's desire will be to reduce the work staff. And even if the person's desire is to reduce the work staff, that is not the government's position. Because if you call all the representatives VALCO who were on the selection committee, part of their terms of reference was that they should look at a proposal that is looking at job retention and increments in the staff strength of VALCO over a period of time.
Okay.
So clearly, what we are doing as government and what we are doing in terms of protecting the labor, the rights of the workers, is to ensure that there would be no job losses of the present staff. That has been made clear, that at least that was the first hurdle that had to be crossed before you even be recommended for further engagement. So that part has been crossed. That's why we confidently say that there will be no job losses.
And this was...
I digress. I disagree with my friend.
And this was communicated, if I may come in, this was communicated, you're saying, directly to the workers. So why then would they go on, on the streets and demonstrate against this as well? What do you think is leading to this? And why is the name,
like I said,
why is Mr. Ibrahim Ahmed's name coming up?
Hazard a guess as to why people will be on the street demonstrating. But what I have said and what has been communicated to the general public, communicated to the workers. In fact, the workers themselves wrote a letter to me, which was responded to. And this was made very clear. The letter was signed by the union leader, and I responded to it. I mean, at the time when he sent the letter, I was out of the country. When I got back, it was lost in the system. I followed up, I retrieved it, and responded, signed by myself, or I think the head of legal.
What was the letter about?
And come again?
What was the letter about?
It was about the same thing. They want to know, they are not involved. And I responded and made them understand that these are the processes that have taken place so far. Your side has been involved. The committee that was set up, your side was on the committee. JADEC was on the committee. Experts from Ministry of Energy to assist with power deliberations was on the committee. Experts from Ministry of Finance was on the committee. Experts from Lands Ministry was on the committee. Experts from Trade Ministry was on the committee. So it wasn't just something shredded in secrecy, like Mr. Safopoku want people to believe. It is something that has been very transparent and open, which is very different from what was being done in 2022. In 2022, the committee was comprised of just JADEC and VALCO. But in 2024, 2025, we have expanded it to include reps from Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Finance, and then Lands Ministry itself. So that is an expanded committee because we want to have the views of as many people as we can have, so that whatever comes out is representative enough.
Okay.
And that is what we've been doing.
Randolph,
so I am actually surprised that people, despite all this information, despite all the knowledge available to them, will jump onto the streets and then demonstrate, and even sadly, introduce the name of Mr. Ibrahim Mahama.
Which is what I was coming to, Randolph, because if you communicated to these workers, did you also give them a list of the companies that have proposed to take over the 70% shares of VALCO? And if that's the case, how is Mr. Ibrahim Mahama's name coming up?
So, Bella, people are entitled to speculate as to whether it is true or not is the case. That's why we issued a statement yesterday. Now, in January 2026, as far back as 9th January 2026, if my memory is not failing me, this same union leader wrote a letter and communicated to the public and mentioned Mr. Ibrahim Mahama's name, that we are taking VALCO's land and selling to him, and that their prospective investors are connected to him. We issued a communique that it is never true. Mr. Ibrahim Mahama has expressed no interest. He is not involved in any ongoing process. And you see, the reason why people always want to draw Mr. Ibrahim Mahama's name into this, and I have to address it once and for all, it is not a secret that I was his lawyer when I was in private practice.
Oh.
I was his lawyer. I have been his lawyer for about 7, 8 years, 10 years. So it is not a secret. It is very convenient. One, he's the president's brother. Two, I was his lawyer. I represent the institution that is, by law, has to supervise the integrated aluminum industry. Everybody knows that Mr. Ibrahim Mahama's interest is in mining. JADEC is supposed to look at the bauxite mining, look at the value addition. So it is not far-fetched for anybody to try to easily link him to it, because then it will stick. Oh, this is his lawyer. He is interested in mining. So that is why people always want to bring him into the picture. But I can confidently tell you that when I even go to Mr. Ibrahim Mahama to discuss things with him, he is not interested in anything concerning aluminium. He has no interest whatsoever in the aluminium sector. He has no interest. And yesterday, I am not in the country, but yesterday I saw a communique from his personal aide, Rafik, and then JADEC itself has issued a statement. And this is about a third or so time we issued a statement, clearly dissociating the entity from him, that we have no dealing with him. If you come to JADEC today, you find not a single letter or expression of interest from his company or any of the companies linked to him.
Could this change in the near future?
Involved in negotiations with other companies, and he features in nowhere close to any discussions that is ongoing in JADEC.
Okay.
But it is convenient. It is easy. I chanced upon a video where this same union leader and some of the workers were saying, oh, he was Ibrahim's lawyer, and then Ibrahim at the point in time was interested in bauxite, and he has come. He went to defend Mr. Ibrahim Mahama in court that he should give, and now he has come and he wants to take it and add. There's no basis to it.
Okay.
It is factually inaccurate, it is misleading, and it's mischievous. But people, you can only put out the facts and believe that people would accept what you have put out there as a fact. But I can't stop them from saying what they want to say. So they are entitled to go onto the street and say whatever it is they want to say. But at the end of the day, the truth is that the selected investor which went to cabinet and got approval, has nothing to do with Mr. Ibrahim Mahama.
So an investor has gotten approval.
Like I said, a selection committee was put together. The committee came out with this report. The report was submitted to the news. The reason why nothing was communicated is because the committee had its terms of reference. Do your report, send your recommendations to the appropriate quarters.
Okay.
That has been done. The approvals have come.
Okay.
And sadly, the sad part is that just last week, Thursday, a meeting was held, and the ministry tasked the team to go to the workers and communicate to them that this is what is being done, and it was done just last week, Thursday.
I see.
The Deputy Minister for Lands went to the workers to communicate to them that this is what is being done.
So who is this strategic investor?
When everything is finalized, we will come back to you and communicate to you.
For the rest of us Ghanaians, because we are all, a party to this as well, who is this investor? We would also want to know.
Yes, you would want to know, but because we are, some of these things, you sign agreements, you enter into certain, tentative agreements, which requires confidentiality until the deal is closed. So that is why we are a bit hesitant to put out the names. But I can assure you that these companies have nothing to do with Ibrahim Mahama. They have nothing to do with anybody connected to Mr. Ibrahim Mahama. But these are two leading global aluminium giants.
Okay.
That is all I can tell you.
I see. Well, don't go yet, just in case we would want you to come in as well. So please stay on Zoom for us. But I'm going to go back to the table now. I don't even know how Braco Powers is looking. Kujo Safo has statement. Let me let you come in briefly, and then I'll go to Kujo.
I think the CEO has clarified matters. Like I indicated earlier, the performance of VACO now is nothing to write home about. And their performance carried through from several regimes. And I'm happy that you rightly asked Kojo that monies that could have been put to VACO, like the money spent on the National Cathedral, could have been spent on VACO. Because clearly, if you listen to the CEO for Giadec, it's a capital issue. Money is needed. So if several governments have not been able to fix the problem at VACO, and you have a government now trying to fix the problem, we cannot try to blackmail the government by using the brother of the president. I told you there's a professional blackmail. That's what was done yesterday. And you heard that the CEO of Giadec rightly said that the man is not even part of it at all. And I understand government is now putting a negotiating team to go and engage the investors. So why they rush in saying that put out the name? Government is now putting the negotiating team to go and engage the investors. The CEO said it. Well, listen to him. So why they rush? And I'm happy that the Giadec CEO said that, look, they want to even increase the capacity to about 300. It means that more jobs will be created. More jobs. So, Austin, your fear, don't worry. More jobs will be created.
Okay.
More jobs will be created.
I see.
You get a point. More jobs will be created. And no, just to say
Land for me so that,
yeah,
because the time is running, so we can all get to speak.
Exactly. You see, on the issue about sales in the past and all of that, the reason why I did mention that of Ghana Telecommunication is because of the strategic impact, strategic nature of Ghana Telecommunication. But it was sold to Vodafone, yet Vodafone didn't survive. And this was done under the MPP regime. ECG was sold to PDS. So the sale of state assets in this country sometimes doesn't go well. But if you have a government say, look, I'll comply by the act, give off equity 70% in order to get capital. And the CEO says that, look, VACO, because of the strategic nature, even if the new investor wants to employ new workers, you cannot just do that because of the processes, the skills, the skill sets. And that's true.
Okay. All right. Richie Divinity says, TV3, try and interview the union leader to provide his evidence as well. Newday says, VACO should be looked into by the government to save the company. That's why we voted. Okay. So government will listen to these few workers and not do the right thing by giving VACO to any investor ready to buy it. Hey, Bibini, that's joyous. Yao. Is it mandatory to keep non-performing workers at VACO? Gregory Asiedo is asking. Kojo?
You see, the issue at stake is that when my brother says that the issue of secrecy, look, when we have governance, it's a state institution. There was an interministerial committee put together to look at it. You selected someone. You sent it to the ministry. It's gone to cabinet. It's gotten approval. And you don't think you can put a name out there?
But that's what he's saying.
No, but no, please. We've been through, look, the NDA.
So until the
non-disclosure is not to say that you can't engage, you can't disclose the name. There's no non-disclosure agreement. Look, I sit as a board
until the deal is completed.
No, but the company, no, hold on. He submitted a bid. It's been looked at by an interministerial committee. We spent money on interministerial committee to look at it. At that point, what's the NDA is non-disclosure of details. You can't disclose the details of the deal to the public. But the entities involved in negotiation with government or who sent a document to government, it's not a secret. If you can't tell Ghanaians today that company A and B submitted a request for proposal, it was shortlisted, it was sent to ministry and cabinet for approval, then there's a problem. There's no NDA that covers that. NDA covers the details of the transaction, not the entities that are in negotiation with a government entities, GUIDEC. Look, if we write to them at the right of information, they will have to give us the information. It can't be a secret. The next thing that they should understand about this 70% and all that is that, look, every transaction is different. GUIDEC is saying that Ghanaian has to do 30%. If there is going to be Ghanaian and GUIDEC has to do 30%, it can't be a carried interest. It has to be a participating interest. So it means that if there's if there's a $1 billion transaction, the Ghanaian investor and GUIDEC has to come up with $300 million, right? So I hope they are in that position to do that. The next aspect of it is that VALCO has negative equity. The reason being that the value KPMG put on a company is about 100 million. Their indebtedness is 450. So straight away off the calculation, their equity compared to their indebtedness, they are insolvent, right? Negative 350. So anybody bringing in money has to look at these things and look at, okay, you are giving me 70% at what price? What is the valuation based on? Sometimes you can use cash flow valuation, right? But this is a company that doesn't have any cash flows. So the issue that some of us want to have a bit more information is not because the public, we sit and do private transactions. He's a lawyer of Mr. Ibrahim. So he's been in private transactions with Mr. Ibrahim, and he knows that it's different from what he's doing. So let's not treat VALCO as a different, you understand? Because it's business. The private company coming in to partner is doing it for business. What is it that is being given out? Let's not get to the end of it. Then it will become a different thing altogether. My brother mentions that PDS was sold. PDS was not sold, my brother. How many times have we had this conversation? PDS was given out on concession. It's not a sale. A sale is when something goes away in perpetuity. When something goes out on concession, it's not a sale. We've done that over and over. Okay. Yes, thank you.
All right. Dr. Inusa, we heard from the CEO now. Does that put to rest all the concerns?
Absolutely so. And it really debunks all the conspiracies out there. And I think that, like I said, we believe in an enterprise economy. Even China, as socialist as they are, the Chinese would tell you that they practice socialism with Chinese characteristics. They should tell you why they say that. Because China is an enterprise economy. It's not an absolute socialist country. And for that matter, Bella, even their state-owned enterprises, right, are listed on their public markets. You understand what I'm saying? And so I do not see why we should make a whole brouhaha about this issue. If the investor, indeed, is coming in strategically to leapfrog VALCO in the interest of Ghana and in the interest of the progress of this entity, so be it. I believe that what even government should even do to even make it more attractive is to guarantee the investment. Okay. And why am I saying that? If you look at Valco, right, in the downstream, there are a lot of opportunities in the downstream. And that is why part of the brilliant ideas and policies that Alan Tramantin succeeded in implementing under his time as the Minister for Trade and Industry. You know that he created a Ghana automotive policy framework. Yeah. And in that policy framework, it attracted 6 of the largest global automotive manufacturing companies in the world. And I can say, without any iota of doubt, that Ghana today, collectively with these 6 strategic automotive companies, has the capacity to manufacture 120 to 140,000 vehicles a year. So imagine if we're able to ensure that this investment is guaranteed in the sense that we ban certain salvage vehicles from coming into this country. Mm-hmm. And you know, I mean, why would we have to spend $500, $200 importing salvage vehicles into this country and risking employment opportunities or development of other industries in the automotive sector? And so Valco can even sell these aluminum to these automotive companies that can even fabricate the chassis so that chassis are made in Ghana by Ghanaian minerals, bauxite. This is what we should look at. And this, within the value chain, would create a lot of employment opportunities. And so I concur to any privatization deal that has the interest of the nation at heart and would support Ghana's drive to leapfrog its economy from an import-oriented one to an export-oriented one.
Okay. Council, I mean, he says that there's not going to be any job losses because...
We've been here before. In fact, it's... And you can credit him. I mean, he's entitled to make that submission. But you see, there's one thing to ensure that the investor guarantees job security. Mm-hmm. And there's another thing for the investor to keep that promise based on the reality. Don't forget, in the local parlance, we say, I grow up if you're not part. And a human from the Bella, I mean, we understand the government may have taken steps to protect the job of, but you see, a competent investor will assess the workforce and as to whether or not they need these number of people to produce that particular work. And in running up, Bella, we must be able to lean out our public sector, and particularly state institutions, because we've saddled these state institutions with people they don't need. Go to some of the companies, some of the state institutions. There are people who are there doing nothing. And we send them there all in the name of creating jobs. But what job what are they doing over there? Let's lean out some of these institutions, free space, create proper jobs. The 133. Let's see the jobs. You get it? Mm-hmm. Create the companies so that we create the manufacturing companies, employ more, let's increase productivity, let's produce more goods, consume some locally, and export others. Okay. I mean, that's how we take, these are the steps we must take in order to ensure that we are giving Ghanaians value for money.
All right. Yao February says the government is interested in the production and distribution of 4 million in cook-on kitten, knowing well that the already 2 million cook-on kitten distributed, the farmers have eaten the matured beds. Why not direct that funding to assist the revitalization of Valco? Okay, let me just move on. Those state-owned companies published under the stock exchange markets in other jurisdictions are profit-making state-owned companies, not a company like Valco that's redundant and now seeking liquidity to revitalize. That's still Yao February. Job losses, well, don't panic at all. Eberengi Frederick says so. Okay, a few messages, but I don't know if Raindolph is still on. Raindolph, are you there? I'll have to wrap up at this point, so I just want to check if you're there. Okay, I guess not. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm being told we have to wrap up. You were writing and the fuel thing. Can we all just get, okay, I'll just allow you to touch on it briefly and then we can wrap up. Yeah? Hold on. Let me start. The fuel prices, of course. Kopek saying that.
How many minutes are you giving us on the fuel price?
Well, each person gets like about one take. You one take 2 minutes.
Okay,
yes.
So let's say that, look, it's sad that we are here where we are. The international pressures are there. When MPP was in power and we talked about the Russia-Ukraine, people said, well, it's still going on and why are you guys talking about it? It's not here that the bombs are flying. Why can't you? The NDC did all the talking. God being so kind and being so great has visited the say on them. Now they are faced with it. They should now help the Ghanaians. There was something that was done some months back, the removal of some margins and levies. It's been restored as far back as 16 June. And now we've seen that there's price escalation. The ones I pity are the workers of Ghana. You know, the workers of Ghana sold their color TV for black and white. You know, when times were hard, the MPP government gave them 30%, as much as 30% in bargaining, right? And salary increase. This government in 2 years have only given 19%. First year gave 9% and this year gave 10%. Unfortunately, the increases in tariffs, electricity alone is about 26%. We are having increases in, what do you call it, in petrol. It's difficult out there. Right now, you know, we had TV3, the famous Martin Pebu bringing Calipo and all these things and Kinky. Today, one tomato is 5 cedis, right? So the Ghanaian is suffering. Unfortunately, we are looking to see what the emergency cabinet meeting will be held to also give Ghanaians some more release because unfortunately times are hard. The prices are going to be from the way the Israelis and the Americans cannot agree. This thing might go on for a while because it looks like even when the Americans and the Iranians agree, the Israelis have a different view of what the end of the war should be. So that has taken the war because you know there was an MOU. But Lebanon was brought into the play. So it's creating a lot of tension. And now what is creating this new high in petroleum prices is the Houthis, who are also blocking the second strait where the Saudis were sending their oil. So another 7 million barrels is out of the market, right? So we don't know when that tension will be over. So at least for the next 2-3 months, we are looking up to the Abain Papaba. Mahama is the whole, to see what whole he gives Ghanaians. For now, we don't know.
Well, I mean, the CEO of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Company says that the recent increases in fuel prices at the pumps are a direct result of the rising international market costs and not by margins, not increased margins by oil marketing companies as well. So I just wanted to put that out. But let me come across. Wanda, you haven't spoken yet.
Yes.
Okay. Briefly on this as well, then I can go to the others.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that today the transport minister will be meeting the
GPRTU.
Yeah, we're meeting the GPRTU and the other stakeholders. I mean, the 30%, just for them to come to a compromise. Normally, drivers will say that apart from even the fuel, the spare parts and all of that. But I'm happy that the big push, eventually, you know, the whole country now is a construction site. The government is working so well. Very soon, we'll have good road network. And the shocks, when you are driving, the shocks, that will happen for...
But that's long term.
No, but we are talking about, of course.
30% increase.
I'm telling you that the minister will meet them today. And we will not get to 30%. That one, take it from me.
Okay.
The minister is meeting all the stakeholders. We will not
don't know that for a fact. You let them finish and let's see.
I'm telling you that it will not get to that level. But I'm saying that even going forward, you see, when problem comes, we must also look at the long term.
Okay.
We must not always look at short term. We must look at the long term. You get the point. And I'm saying that with this big push, we are going to have a very good road network in this country, and we will not have issues with buying spare parts and all of that. Beyond that, prior to these external shocks, Bella, we saw even filling stations in Ghana were giving wache, cocoa, because fuel were down in this country prior to this Iran, Israel, US war. We saw filling stations, Goel, Star Oil, giving out packages, freebies. Cocoa, breakfast, exactly. So it's just this fuel, this is just because of the external shock. I'm shocked that my brother here says that God being so good and great. Oh, don't add God to this one. Because you don't bring God to your politics. God is not happy with the Israel war, this Iran war. Please, don't bring God.
Okay,
please.
Doc.
Bella, I have said time without number that we need to diversify what powers our vehicles on the road in terms of our road transport system. Indeed, I'm happy to announce to the general public and indeed any persons of interest that I'm one of the leading proponents in formulating a charter and indeed to advance government policy when it comes to EV vehicles. So we are creating for the first time a chamber of industry for EV mobility in this country. And I believe that if we diversify what energy sources goes into how we move around, it would also help solve this menace. I would have wished that the SkyTrain was in play. That would have helped cushion how urban mobility in this country would have been. But unfortunately, we lost $2 million to that. The price of fuel would have been worse if Mahmoud Bawumia was the head of the economic management team and the MPP were in power today. Because, Bella, today, we are seeing a currency that has appreciated by 41%. We are seeing inflation at 5.3%. And we are seeing our import cover increase by 5 months. Do you understand? We have seen increase in our foreign reserves as a result of how we streamline the export of gold through the gold board. So this has supported the, lower inflation of prices at the pump, which is quite significant. And you should know that even at the prices that they are quoting today, there's a 1 cedi levy. So if we even take out the 1 cedi levy, it will still be down. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to say that the MPP should be the last to even want to talk about fuel prices or inflation of that matter, or anything that talks about exogenous shocks in this country. Because under their regime, the structure of the economy was very weak, that we were susceptible to exogenous shocks that we don't see today. Bella, and it's a fact. And I'm saying that, look, the government, calling and rehashing that the Ministry of Transport should ensure that there should be some form of, they should implement it. I believe that under the MPP's budget, when Ken Oforiatta was Minister for Finance, there was an 8-year duration for zero import tariffs for EV vehicles. We should go and revisit that and even make it everlasting till we're able to revamp this sector in this country. So that, at least, Bella, you know that 28,000 Ghanaians die from air pollution each year, of which 40% is contributed by our road transport system. So we want to see more EVs in the system.
All right.
You understand? And indeed, diversify our energy mix as well. Because
we need to have the power.
The argument is that, the other argument is that we say EV, which is good, it's sustainable, it's cheaper and all that. But the point is our energy mix also does not support that argument one way or the other. So we need to also correct that. Because if you have your national grid powered by 70% of thermal power plants, then it's not sustainable and it's very expensive.
Braco, please come in briefly as well. I have to go.
Why are the transport operators in a hurry to increase fares? At the least provocation. In fact, sometimes you don't understand.
One person change.
Yes, at the least provocation, this guy will say, oh, we are increasing fares. We want to increase fares.
When the prices come down.
That's so selfish.
When they were getting the breakfast, they didn't reduce.
Because sometimes I don't understand them. That's why, Bella, I've said that we need to have a transport authority to regulate some of these things. Some strategic institutions, you must regulate them. Okay. At the least provocation, these guys want to increase fares.
But there have been times when they've been wanting to increase, but they were told not to.
Yes, so because it's not everything you must increase fares.
Okay.
It's not every time. Because when they do that, you know what the trickling down effects, it will cause a spike in other commodities.
Yeah.
The prices in other commodities. Burdening the overburdened Ghanaians. Sometimes they don't look at the full picture. They just think about themselves. That's what we need. We need a transport authority to regulate this sector. I have said that there are some sectors the government must step in. And we should let the government compete with the private individual.
Okay.
Bella. And so, in running up, when there is a burden, I have always said that it must be jointly shared. If prices of crude is spiking on the international market, Ghanaians must share with the government.
Okay.
But the burden must not be to the disadvantage of Ghanaians.
So the government should absorb the
more.
No, because the government has made over 40%.
Okay.
So the government must absorb more.
All right. Okay,
and give reprieve to Ghanaians.
Okay. Well, speaking of which, so Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, they've urged government to consider reintroducing the fuel price intervention introduced during the peak of the Middle East crisis, arguing that the measure helped reduce the impact of rising petroleum prices on consumers and businesses. So let's hope that government will listen and pay heed to this call and reintroduce that so that it will provide some relief for us as well. I have to go, unfortunately.
Have you realized that it's very difficult for government to get GPR to reduce prices anytime fuel prices drop?
Okay. All right. On that note, well, we have Roland on the street. In fact, Roland will be coming to you from a church today. and they'll be having a conversation about that proposed 30% increment, because we're hearing that there are instances where allegedly some drivers are already charging that 30% fare increase. We'll ascertain if that is true or not. But in the meantime, we'll update you when that meeting between GPRTU, the Transport Operators Union, and government takes place, so we know if there will be a 30% increment, if there will be an increment in the first place anyway. But I've been speaking to Dr. Ramsey Nusa. He's the Director of Research, United Party. Austin Braco Powers, he's a private legal practitioner. And there's a gentleman who was happy that we brought you on the show today, Austin. I'm trying to get his name. He says, Patrick Kugbesika, he says that thank you for bringing my Braco Powers in. So that's for you. Kojo Pokun Safwa is an energy analyst. He's an MPP member. He says he doesn't want the senior or leading member, but he's an MPP member. So it's good to see you as well. And former flag bearer. Wonder, you never know, maybe incoming vice president or something. Wonder Victor Kuto, private legal practitioner. He's also a member of the NDC communications team, a NEC member, and he says he's running for Deputy Communications. Deputy National Communications. Okay, I see. The big issue is sponsored by the University of Gold Coast, and so if you're working but you're also aiming for a specialist MBA in marketing, communications, operations, supply chain, human resource management, finance, entrepreneurship, innovation, or business intelligence analytics, or you want to advance through a dual MBA or Chartered Manager MBA, University of Gold Coast gives you options that match your vision. No matter how busy your schedule is, you'll find a way to still go through and get your certificate. Also, if you're interested in international law, marketing, security, diplomacy, accounting, finance, or human resource management, or you want an LLM in international law, security, diplomacy, or MA in biblical studies, practical theology, then the pathway is open. Apply today. Log on to www.ugc.edu.gh, www.ugc.edu.gh, or call them or WhatsApp them on 026-388-8555. That's it for the big issues. Sports is coming up next, and like I said, Roland is coming to you from a Trotsky near you. Look out for him. We'll be back. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right.
us is changing. Not slowly, not quietly. In the north, the rains that once arrived on time don't come anymore. In the middle belt, rivers and forests disappearing overnight. Along the coast, the sea is swallowing land that families have called home for generations. Rising temperatures, failed harvests, homes lost to tides. This is not a warning about tomorrow. This is the world right now. TV3 and the German embassy in Ghana. The conversation on climate security implications in Ghana. The Climate Talks 2026. 5 cities, 5 conversations, 1 urgent call to action. Tamale, Bolgatanga, Kumasi, Keta, Accra. Starting this June 2026. The climate talks are coming, and this time, the people most affected by Ghana's climate security crisis will be at the center of it all. Because the time for Ghana to act is now. In a world full of noise, clarity matters. Stories shape us, ideas challenge us. An honest dialogue moves us forward. This is a space for depth, where voices are heard and perspectives matter. Conversations with Dr. Abnanya Kwasmini, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Is changing, not slowly, not quietly. In the north, the rains that once arrived on time don't come anymore. In the middle belt, rivers and forests disappearing overnight. Along the coast, the sea is swallowing land that families have called home for generations. Rising temperatures, failed harvests, homes lost to tides. This is not a warning about tomorrow. This is the world right now. TV3 and the German embassy in Ghana. The conversation on climate security implications in Ghana. The Climate Talks 2026. 5 cities, 5 conversations, 1 urgent call to action. Tamale, Bolgatanga, Kumasi, Keta, Accra. Starting this June 2026. The climate talks are coming, and this time, the people most affected by Ghana's climate security crisis will be at the center of it all.
It's time for sports, and here we are. Yo, what's up? You look very sharp.
Really?
Why are you going to represent Chairman to me?
Oh no!
You look like you're ready to go to court.
I'm trying to even understand the law.
Which of
which
of the cases are you going to
case has opened up a lot of things to me.
Oh, really?
Someone that is not really law inclined. I've seen that there are so many things that we need to know as people, so that we are guided by it. Because it looks like ignorance, no? Whether you knew or you didn't know,
the law is
the law is the law. So
absolutely.
there are things that we should do on our own. read, find out from people. Yeah.
Okay, so
these days when I meet Johnny Hughes, I try to get a few tips. I meet Akable as well, so that I don't find myself in trouble.
Of course, it's important. Don't go and give your concession to anybody.
I don't even have one.
Let's talk about Wafu.
Yeah, we'll talk about Wafu, but there's a breaking news.
Oh, there
just when I was entering the studio,
Okay.
The French national team have made an announcement.
They have a new coach?
Yes, please.
Who is it?
Zinedine Zidane is the new coach.
But wait, it's not breaking news.
It's breaking news.
Because there were rumors here and there.
Yeah, I mean, it was brewing, but it wasn't commands. I mean,
exactly.
Went on to win the Ballon d'Or and all that. He's a top player. He was a top player. So that is something that has worked for him. I hope that it continues with the French national team. Because
that means next World Cup we're picking it.
But unfortunately, his son plays for Algeria. The Algerian national. He's the number 1 goalkeeper for the Algerian national team. It was just like...
Was he not the one he was watching the last time and there were so many memes on him?
It was like just like George Weah when his son was playing for the US national team and he was actually watching the Liberian game and people were questioning, why don't you let your son come and play for us?
Is it too late to get his son to now
Too late, because now he's represented Algeria in a competitive game. So
it's fine.
Maybe he would have to do with what he has at France, and Kylian Mbappe and the likes will be there.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? But let's get to Wafu B now.
Wafu B, it looks like we would have to find a way of getting Nigeria off our back. Because apart from the senior national team, every stage that they meet us, they try to give us some headaches. Well, when it's women's football, when it's under 17, now the under 20 Wafu B tournament that is ongoing in Ivory Coast. We opened our account yesterday against Nigeria and they beat us by 4-2.
Oh!
Nigeria have become a thorn in the flesh of Ghana when it comes to youth football. Yesterday they scored early. We had a penalty. Mediema winger Kelvin Nkrumah, who is the captain of the Black Satellite, scored one for us, but it wasn't enough. In the end, we lost the game by 4-2. And our head coach, Maxwell Kunedu, who was actually with us a year during the World Cup on TV3, has spoken and he says that he expects the boys to bounce back in their second game against Burkina Faso.
Thank you very much. I think it was quite a difficult game. We plan to, start with the high press to see how our opponent could, handle it. In the process, we gave away some cheap goals that I think could have been avoided. Having said that, we can't take anything away from our colleagues. They did well. I think they played better than. I think right now for us to bounce back and try to win the games that are ahead of us. We knew that they were going to come very hard because physically they are built and well, organized. Yes, we were organized, but then giving away 2 cheap goals, I don't think we can make headway with that. We need to quickly fix that problem and make sure that we play very well from the back line. I think that was the biggest issue we had. So I think going forward in the next game, we're working on our defense and make sure that we avoid those mistakes that we made.
All right. Well, we hope to avoid those mistakes, right?
Yeah. Let's cut them out. In our next game against Burkina, then we face off with Togo in our final game.
I see. Those ones are easy teams, right? Oh.
Well, there are no easy teams on the African continent again. The last time I said a team was easy was Ghana against Comoros and we were defeated by Togo. So since then, I've decided not to write off any team on the African continent. Football has grown, Bella. Yeah. Football has grown.
So the women are playing the African Cup of Nations.
Yes.
Why are we not getting as much attention?
Well, I mean, it's the timing. The timing not really a good one because last year around the same time they played the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, but it wasn't a qualification series to the World Cup. Then CAF said that they wanted to use that one to, send the teams to the World Cup to represent Africa in the Women's World Cup.
Okay.
Then some of the teams said, no, you didn't say this was a qualification, so let's play another tournament. Then CAF decided to play another tournament just right after the World Cup. And I mean, it's not really getting the attention because even the Moroccans, it looks like they are tired every day. I mean, we are having tournaments like this. But this is a big one because it's a qualification series to the World Cup. The first 4 teams in this tournament qualify automatically to play at the Women's World Cup in Brazil. And that is a big one. The Black Queens, our team, hasn't been at the World Cup since 2007. So we are aiming at going back there. Yesterday, there was a shocker. Tanzania beating South Africa, who are one of the favorites to even win the tournament by 2-1. It came as a shock. But, I mean, if you look at the South African team, the Bayana, a lot of them are over the age of 30, fading out and all that. So it's getting a toll.
Why they don't have younger women who are interested in football?
They've not really replaced them. And their head coach, Desiree Ellis, who is one of the most respected women coaches on the African continent, says that they need to start the transition, which would help them. Then there was Ivory Coast also winning their game against Burkina Faso. There are games that we are looking forward to today because Nigeria will be playing. They have been tipped as the team that would go on and win the tournament. Let's see. And we would have Zambia also play. But the Black Queens are preparing for the encounter tomorrow. It's not going to be easy. We are playing Cape Verde tomorrow. And we will need to...
why are you saying that? It's not like because the guys played a good game, the women would be...
Well, the coach says that definitely they are taking inspiration from what the men did at the FIFA World Cup, and that will put them in the front foot and go on and win the game against Ghana. Kim Lasby-Okegren, the last time, he finished third with the Black Queens. So if we were using the last tournaments, Ghana would have qualified to the World Cup because we finished third. But we are not using. So we have to go again. And this time, it's not going to be easy. We are playing the likes of Cape Verde. We are playing Cameroon. We are playing Mali in our group. If we get out of our group, we are closer to the Nigeria-Zambia group. So let's see what happens. But first things first, win your game against Cape Verde and see what happens. Tomorrow, the Queens will be in action, and it looks like the team is set to do battle.
Well, fingers crossed. How's Bill enjoying the Commonwealth Games?
Well, going well for him. The coverage is pretty good. We are getting bites and sounds, especially from the games. And Ghana, even though we've not racked up a lot of medals at the moment, it looks like we may be heading somewhere. Yesterday we had a couple of our guys qualify to the semi-finals of the 100 meters. Benjamin Azamati and of course Rashid Saminu also making it. But unfortunately both you could not make it. So today the semi-final would be on Azamati and of course Rashid Saminu. We are hoping they would qualify to the final and see if Ghana can get more medals. So far we have 1 medal.
1?
Yeah.
In what?
And it came from Para Ali Zinabu Isa in the women's shot put event. It's a silver that we've gotten. And for a country that used to be the Gold Coast, we need gold. So
I know, we barely get gold when we go for
we
these
need gold.
games.
We need gold. We need gold. So we are hoping that more athletes would rack up the medal. But Zinabu Isa wins Ghana's first medal at this year's Commonwealth Games. Today, semi-final around 7 p.m. Azamati and Rashid Saminu will be competing.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
I would make sure to tune in.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can get something.
Of
right?
course. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much
Welcome.
for joining us. So sports takes over. I mean, you are presenting the sports show.
I mean, I want you to get out so that I come in and take over the studio.
We are not going anywhere. We are not going anywhere. We'll be here. In fact, today I'm presenting with you.
Not at
Michael
all.
didn't tell you.
No.
Good morning, Michael. You didn't tell him, so I'm announcing it on TV. I'll be hosting sports with him from 10 a.m. So look forward to it. But thank you so much.
Welcome, Bella.
Well, what we'll do is we'll put you in the church with Papa Ro because he's in the church right now.
Well, prices have gone up.
Well, there's supposed to be. They have proposed a 30% increase. So let's see.
Wow.
They're yet to meet government to see.
Papa Ro has all the details.
Yes, he does. He has all the details, and I hope there won't be any fights in the church hall. But we'll bring you those details when we're ready. Of course, we will update you on whether there's going to be a 30% increment in transport fares or not. In fact, we're hearing that in some places there may have been some increments. Is it really true or not? We'll find out after the break. You're welcome back. It's TV3 Newday. And now Roland Walker is at 37. He's at the 37 lorry station and he is interacting with some of the drivers, the unions there, as well as passengers to see how this proposed 30% increase in transport fares would affect business. Let's listen.
Some drivers who are either members of the GPRTU or members of other driver associations who have made the pointed decision to increase transport fares. Well, intelligence and sources also do indicate that some of those increments have been made without recourse to what their national executives or leaders have indicated. However, we need to come and ask the other officers just across the stations. And currently, we're here today, the 37 lorry station, where you find a number of cars, whether going to Tema, Medina, Adenta, or the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, and the passengers taking their buses on the trotros from here. So we're here at the GPRTU office of the 37 branch, and this is number one. They have another office down there. And ask a number of their leading officers what they think about what the conversation is, what also needs to be done, and whether they are thinking at all about any increment at the national level. So I have the GPRTU reps here. Me pato hwane mu chairman no. Chairman ni ba mu nyina mo ka GPRTU no. That's say
Boko.
Boko. Your friend say
Frame Adona.
Adona.
So station frame Union Father.
Union Father.
Yes.
Okay, so we're here with Union Father Adona. And Adona, you say that petrol, diesel is going up, cost. So sometimes you are leaders of the union. So sometimes you're also owners of buses, trotro, etc. Modre home, nyedwa helo.
Wajwe angano so say nesane eko wan wa fe afunu wa afun we no. Se bo ko na afunu. Bo wa ke no funu se be no wa he ojan no wa he da. No epiano ko bo ha.
Kolonya National Association kan nyanga munyutu ke discussions of pure epianya ke nyaba increase fares olo.
Oh. Nene pure maka ye
Edem. Okay, so the way it is here now, it means it's a mibisa. Say more association or GPRT. More during home. Paja
from Kwame Manfe.
Okay, so Kwame Manfe from Adona. Then we come to Kwame Manfe. More during home because once a few no increase here. I think I've seen at least 3 or 4. So over the last, if not 8 to about 15 days over the period.
Correct. Yeah, many 37 chief driver, GPR to branch number 1. And fair now, filling station prices no matter to so, but you and Tishy, you won't be. But I didn't say, near in a better fair no, by a penny for until a train penny for and say, don't go back up. Other stations be why I want to no matter to my face him. The train and penny for no back. The increment I pay.
Stations been a while around that. When you Santi and they say they want to increase the fare.
From here to Medina, Mate.
So here to Medina, that road.
Yeah, Mate. Yeah. So you see a train, say I'm penning for no baby be a train and see to me.
So the situation is that they have observed the rapid increments when it comes to fuel, but more importantly, they are also thinking about it because there are other allied station officers or drivers who ply certain routes, and he's made mention of from here to Medina, here to Adenta.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Sawam.
Yeah.
Usually, what do you go through in terms of into Toyeda and Nasa Kasa any discussions amunya and sana? Directive na ba ya moya ne say mpanyimfo no na wosoro ho no mo de ba fema na ase de
ya mpanyimfo no na ehihye wosoro ho no mo de ba fom na ye nso kwara ye wase ne nso ya wo free with it.
All right, so the discussions are had at the national level, brought to the regional, then down to the various branches of the stations. It is important for us to put into perspective. Yeah, passengers no. Ya kasa ne say sometimes we've seen fuel increased, then you also increase, but when the fuel is reduced in terms of the price at the stage, you people, you don't reduce.
Yeah, but I say, what to fuenum, and I answer ya to fenum. But on Tauko, Aboso can pass or Monteso. She or Monteso, young drivers and so your car owners, no more increases.
Yes, but fuel, you people use fuel and spare parts.
Yes.
But say spare parts in cost ra, and I say omotoso kakra, na say fuel no so cost na mu increase here. Fuel no cut down,
spare parts or Monteso.
But say fuel no cut down, until at least fair na mu the sanka moteso kakra, say mo ye ne 10 na nanka mo mateso a 5 akra.
And then to me,
which more deal?
Yeah. I answer your top pass and Monteso, yeah. And the end to me, and I answer better famous.
So the argument he's making is that they look at a two-pronged price indicator. It's not only the fuel but also the spare parts. So they have increased the fares based on the spare parts and the fuel. And once the fuel even comes down, but the spare parts prices are still up, no reduction.
Yes.
They say a trend here.
They are trying say impending for Bekasa.
But the way I watch atmosphere and the bomb is a beba. All right. So Kwame Mamfe.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much, Kwame. Chief driver.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you so much. So we're coming from the 37 GPRTU office, but we also want to get the experiential moment as all of us as commuters, and then when we sit in the trotro, ask some of our colleague passengers what they make of the decision and the likely increment in transport fares, but more so its implications. Make sure that when we get there, we'll have some great conversations thereof. And from speaking to those driver union heads, we're currently in a car from 37 heading to the Kwame Nkrumah interchange area, what we normally call Kwame Nkrumah Circle. We want to do some interactions right here. Ask our regular commuters, you and I, what we make of if there should be any impending increment in transport fares, what could be the meaning? And I have my own hometown man here. I've already done an introduction. Good morning, Afon.
Yeah.
Great, yeah. And if we're talking about transport, etc. And I know you're going to Circle, Africa, you know that?
Circle.
So you're going to Circle.
Yeah.
If they increase the fares, would it be a problem for you?
Really, it will be a problem because if they increase the fare, they will increase the foodstuffs, everything will go up. Yeah. Already the fuel price is heading 17 point something, which is amazing.
For diesel?
For diesel. And the petrol is around 14 plus. It will be difficult for some of us.
It will be unbearable.
When they increase the fare.
Indeed, it will be difficult for all of us.
All of us, yes.
So your point is that once fuel price is increased and then the transport fares are increased, it affects everything?
It affects everything, even markets, everywhere. So they should look at it for us. Yeah. Tokukuradama.
All right, what's your name?
My name is Anthony Azamala. Anthony Koshi Azamala.
Anthony Koshi Azamala. And where do you live?
Medina Ashalibutwe.
Medina Ashalibutwe. Medina is one, and then you connect to Ashalibutwe, so same area. Now we want to speak to other commuters as well. My name is Roland. What's your name?
Courage.
Courage.
Yes, sir.
Courage Koshiga.
Mensa.
So you're Courage what?
Mensa.
Where do you live?
I live at Bishop Camp Tema.
Oh, those are me. You know, I grew up in Ashama. I live at Ajekojo, then Bishop Camp, Afienya. Those are my areas as well. And so you means you come from far to Accra?
Yes.
And you have to board car every day?
Every single day.
Usually, every single day you have to come?
Yes, every single day.
Tell me the issues already existing from that stretch.
One is traffic. The traffic is it's crazy. On Mondays, sometimes I get to work at 9 a.m. every Monday.
Whilst you started off from when?
Sometimes when I get to the junction, there's a line. So I leave house before 6. And I get to Accra by 9. And my boys always complain, but
what can you do?
You
are leaving the house before 6.
Before 6, you can imagine. And it's one lane in, one lane out. And even though the drivers are trying to misbehave, there's always the MTTU on check to make sure that they follow the line. So
But it also means that when you close, you go through the same problem.
Of course, every single day.
When do you usually get home?
9:30.
In the evening?
Yeah.
La ilaha illallah. It cannot be easy, Courage.
It is not. It is not. Yeah. To be honest, it's not.
And already the fuel prices are jumping. They are jumping like Robin Hood. And it's not easy. And there could be likely increment.
Of course, it's expected. Because when fuel prices go up, transport fees go up. And even though some of the drivers, they feel our pain, they don't have a choice than to increase it. And there's nothing we can do than to adjust ourselves to it. Yeah.
But what could be the detrimental effect on you as a person? You look at how much your earnings are, you have to live, you're a young man.
So even though we are trying to save, I'm not saying we can save much, but transport is taking almost 50% of our earnings. Not even talking about personal expenses and everything. Transport alone is taking almost half of whatever we are earning. Yes.
And if there is an increment, what does it mean?
It will affect us. It will affect us because you have to calculate how much your budget for the week. And if they are increasing transport, it means that you have to take money from whatever buffer you have. Probably if you have some emergency savings somewhere, you don't have any choice than to take money from them, which you might not be happy, but you don't have a choice because you have to go to work and earn money.
Yeah. It is hard.
It is difficult, my brother.
Yeah.
It is difficult.
Something has to be done about it, right? Because once the fare is increased, we're in trouble.
Of course. I think government has to intervene and speak to the drivers and the union heads to adjust. If there can be an adjustment or there can be a negotiation, if it can be done, we'll be very, very happy about that.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
It cannot certainly be easy. But we also need to have the conversation on a bigger scale. And that's what we're talking about. You take a look at what the concern has been and then also what the issues are. And certainly we have to do something about the transport fares. But in all, well, it cannot be easy, sir. What's your name? Okay, you are not interested. Are you interested to talk to me? How are you? Oh no, that's fine. How are you? Tell me, what's where usually do you commute from?
I'm at 37.
37. Okay, so you just where are you going now?
I don't really go out often like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but right now
Gen
I'm
Z.
going to circle.
Yeah, Gen Z. All right.
When I'm going to circle.
All right. Okay. But if they increase the fares?
Yeah. They should work. They should work on it.
Something on it. Thank you very much. What's your name?
Michael.
Michael. Well, and you've heard the conversation, and it's going to be a big deal for many people. But the concern is what then should be done when it comes to the issue of the increment of transport fares, and for all those who tend to commute, what really should be the decision that needs to be taken. It's a concern for everybody else. Now back to studio.
All right, so that's the situation on the ground. But like I said, there's a meeting that's supposed to be had today. And when that meeting happens, we'll know exactly what the plan is. So we're told that transport operators and governments will meet over the proposed 30% fare increase. And, well, it's based on the rising fuel prices and the increasing cost of vehicles, spare parts, and how they continue to put pressure on operations. So let's see how that goes. We'll keep you apprised on the show. But attention all parents of first-year SHS boarding students, EduPack, the Ghana Education Service approved and supported national SHS initiative implemented by Prospectus Ghana, is now in progress across Ghana. So parents across the country are already registering, so their children's trunk, Macintosh mattress, pillow, and plastic chop box will be ready and waiting at their school before reporting day. So do not delay and be caught in the usual last-minute market rush, carrying heavy items under pressure. With EduPack, your child does not need to travel to school with these 4 essential items. Just register. Dial *713*821#. *713*821#. visit any ADB branch or go to www.edupackgh.com to make payments and keep your receipts. And you only present it on opening day to collect all your child's EduPack items in school. Your registration follows you to any SHS that your child is placed. So avoid the stress, avoid the rush, prepare with confidence, all at very affordable prices. So EduPack approved and supported by the GES. And if you want more information, reach out to them 0500 600 607, 0500 600 607 or 030 295 5050. EduPack, no stress, no wahala. If it's your birthday today, well, let me give you some information before that. It's time to move and to make that move. It's time for a cold Malta Guinness. When the mind, body, and Malta Guinness unite, nothing is beyond your reach. So vim up your day and, of course, revitalize your day with a taste of Malta Guinness, packed with B vitamins. Charge forward towards your goals with each sip of its nourishing natural goodness. Now with a new look, and remember to always look out for the proudly made in Ghana symbol on every bottle or can of Malta Guinness. Malta Guinness, we move. On that note, let's move straight into birthday celebrations, shall we? If it's your birthday today, happy birthday. God bless you. Okay, well, let's give out some money first, shall we? Okay, it's time for cash out. Let's go. Who's it going to be? That lucky number, there you go. So 0542576 ****. And you should receive that alert with your money immediately. So congratulations. This person is winning how much? 1,000 Ghana cedis today? Oh, 500 cedis. Is it just one person we're giving? Oh, 4 people. So we have 3 more to go. Shall we do that now? Okay. Okay, we'll do birthdays. But congrats to that number that just received 500 Ghana cedis. Happy birthday, Anita. Oh, it's Anita's birthday. Oh, happy birthday, Anita. One of our producers on TV3 Newday. Oh, this is a cute photo. We love you, Anita. God bless you. 70th birthday to Charlotte Lomo. Happy birthday from Lomo and Akita family. God bless you, ma'am. To Madame Vivian Seche from Auntie B, to you. God bless you, ma'am. Rukiata Mubi Idris of First National Bank. God bless you. This is from your husband. You're so pretty. And also to Jeremy. This is from Daddy. He says he loves you, boy. Happy birthday to Nana B. May God strengthen you. This is from your sister Linda Ampa to you. Very beautiful as well. Aww. Happy glorious birthday, my dear. God has been faithful to you. 50 years on earth. Happy birthday. Going out to Gifty Kogo. God bless you. Also to our Tim Bismarck. This is from Judith to you. Bless you. And okay, so also to, okay, that's it. Whose birthday is it again? Chief Alfarian. Okay, your wife is celebrating her birthday today. Mercy Ajiman. So happy birthday to you. God bless you, ma'am. God bless you. All right, so I think that's about it for today. Yeah? Okay, we're wrapping up. Thank you all so much for joining us on the show. As always, we're back from 6 to 10 a.m. every day on TV3, so make sure to tune in. Sports is up next. Of course, the news will follow at 12, and the rest of the programming will keep you entertained. 1 p.m. is the afternoon show, and then we keep going on and on. So don't change that dial. Stay with us. It's TV3. We love you.